Hello, Swivelheads. It's Greg Allison with Swivelhead News, coming to you late live or early live, however you look at it. Extremely late. My friends, the calls for Texit are growing. In fact, according to some, over 60% of the people in Texas now support Texit, or at least a call for a separation, because of all the tensions that's going on the border and other things. It didn't start with a border crisis, but that definitely has increased the cause and the attention to the Texit movement. So what will Texas do? What would the rest of the country do if Texas did exit? I guess the red states would be in a severe minority. They might all be tempted to go with Texas in that event because they certainly would not have a good representation within the government of the United States if all the delegates from Texas exited. I don't know, guys, if that would happen or not. I think it's not too likely at the moment yet, but who knows? With the coming tensions that's going to be going on politically through the year, especially around election time. Of course, all this comes to you just in time as the movie Civil War comes out, but, Texas does not require a civil war. There's a lot of articles out there that say, well, Texas is calling for civil war. Have you heard anybody call for civil war? That's just it. See, the media really wants to hype on this real big. They want to spin it in a way like that. Major Taylor Greene, she was calling for a national divorce between red states and blue states, not a war. Like many countries in Europe have separated in other places without war. It's been done. It's happened. Why would we have a war? Why should we have a war? Civil war is the worst thing in the world. I hope we don't have a war. It might be that I would say a better choice might be that we could remain a nation, but have a better recognition of states' rights. Let people in different states live however they want to live without having the rest of the country tell them how to live. So, people could have more autonomy. And this whole thing of these nations anyway, I think it's outdated. I think the bigger worldwide governance is even more outdated. We don't need any of that, my friends. I don't think. I'm going to update the chat room. We're going to look at some news. So give me a second. Let me hit the refresh button here so I can see the chat room. I'll hit it. We'll see what we got in the house tonight. I know it's extremely late now. So we got a good crowd in here. We got Shill Maiden from Britain. We got 20 people in here. Okay. I guess I shouldn't be expected to have. We got Alaskan here with Mag Rising. Very good. All right, folks. Michelle from Arkansas. I just saw a poll that's a report that said listed states by which are the most attractive for retirement. Arkansas was listed as number one in that report. Wow. Arkansas. I guess, low cost of living and, peaceful place to live. So maybe Michelle's ahead of all of us. And Oklahoma was high on the list too there. Green Country Agroforestry, Jason Neighbors. Alrighty, folks, let's kind of get into the news here. Peaceful organization of our social structure is possible if people remember the place, the natural law at the top of their priorities. Amen. Amen. We don't need no stinking war. We don't need none of them. Alrighty, folks, we're going to get into the news here. Hang on, just hold on your hats. We'll get into the news and then we'll get into the a lot of it's just the same old stuff right now. The good news is that so far everything on the border has been relatively peaceful. I mean, you saw all these rags talking about how the convoy is going to come down and they were armed and they were going to stop the migrants, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Ain't none of that happened. What I've seen, the videos I've seen showed people gathering and having dinner at places and listening to music and just say, hey, we support stopping the border. We support the stopping illegal immigration, and then we're saying it verbally, but not in a bombastic fashion, at least the ones I've seen interviewed by some of the people, some of the YouTube channels going around down there. You don't see much in the media. You see a lot of articles making all kind of allegations out there. But so far, none of that has come to pass. And I think if something bad did come to pass, it might be maybe infiltrators, saboteurs, agents of saboteur, might try to get in the way there. Like the ones that wear the khaki shirts and black shirts and khaki pants. who like to show up. And we all know what the three-letter agency they're suspected of belonging to, but that's another story. Anyway, so that's what some people think. I don't know, guys. So let's just kind of look at this stuff. So now this is in a British channel here. I haven't seen this in American news. Yeah, surprise, surprise, right? Texas wants its Brexit, which is Texit for this is a British, so Brexit was British getting out of the EU, which I think was a positive thing. Now, some other countries in Europe, however elections go, may follow the direction of Great Britain and exit the EU, the European Union. Anyway, according to this article, 60% of Texans support independence, ready for self-government. So I kind of tried to look around. I did not see the poll on which this was based. So I got to give, I got to state that forthright. But then again, maybe that kind of stuff gets buried with all the stuff going on these days. Who knows? So anyway, Dan Miller is the guy who's started this Texas nationalist movement. It says back in 2005. And, they had recently the Texas Supreme Court declined to hear their case because once they had a certain number of petitions, they were supposed to be able to get it on the ballot, and they surpassed the number of petitions. Let's see, they needed 97,000. They got 139,000, which meant they should have got on the measure on the ballot, but somehow the Texas Supreme Court kind of shut it down. And reportedly, the state's Republican Party chair, Matthew Rinaldi, he said, we're thankful the Texas Supreme Court swiftly rejected the Texas Nationalist Movement petition to allow electronic signatures gathered on the internet to be used for petitions. I guess they need to get it on paper. Well, I imagine they won't have any trouble getting it on paper this week if they want to do that. I don't know, guys. So, yeah, but lots of people are calling for this now. So we'll see where that all goes. I have no idea what's going to happen out there next. Let's just hope it remains peaceful, whatever it is. So I'll poll you guys here with some questions in a little bit. So, and here we are talking about they got the state troopers putting out more razor wire. Nothing's happening. But, some people are, on YouTube have went around and they've went just a few miles up, a couple miles up from Eagle Pass, and where the wall ends, there's no wire, no guard there. And they're finding some fresh clothes that were wet, that were dropped off, or people coming across the border still. But it's not as many as were. Apparently, Eagle Pass was like a focal point where a lot of them were come across. There were two bridges there. Maybe the river was more shallow. I don't know what made Eagle Pass such an attractive place to cross. Not long back, you saw hordes of people that were there, gathered there. So whatever that meant. I don't know, guys. So it's a big question here. What's happening? This article challenges the so-called illegal invasion theory. But guys, look what's coming across the border. It is a lot of military-age young men. And it's believed a lot of them actually belong to militaries of China and other places like that. I hear reports of that nature from various and sundry sorts. Quite a few sources, numerous sources. So watch it where it goes. Guys, right now, it's time to consider your seeds. It's time to consider planting. We don't know how long our grid's going to be left operable, especially if we start striking Iran. So I highly encourage you to go ahead and get everything while the getting's good. You need to stock up extra seeds in case you have a bad season with your garden. In case you lose 1 year's crop, have extra seeds. So you need heirloom seeds, kinds you can plant and save seeds from to grow the next year, so that there may be no stores, guys. You got to really plan for gardening with no stores. That's the kind of gardening you need to practice, and that's what I've taught on a lot of my videos on gardening on green grapes from way back. Michelle Young, yeah, salute to you. That's the whole allegation is political theater. Maybe that's why all this is coming out at the same time the maybe Civil War is coming out, or just right after Leave the World Behind. What's all that mean? It's political theater. Well, where are they going with it? I don't know, but we do. The immigration has got to be dealt with. The illegal immigration needs to stop, because it's illegal. And, we got to president says, well, you know, if you will vote a certain bill in, that I'll shut the border. But what he means is he will do what's in accordance with that bill, which allows nearly 2 million to come across every year in the course of a 4-year administration, or from here, if he got reelected, and you know the remaining year on, it'd be 10 million, almost 10 million could cross that border under the bill, and he would claim that I stopped it, I shut it down. Yeah, right. So the river is shallow. That's what I would expect there. That's why I think they're coming across. The river is shallow at Eagle Pass. Yeah, that's why you got 2 bridges there, a railroad bridge and a highway bridge. Well, in any event, that's what I was expecting. The river. But hey there, Brandon, good to see you. Yeah, we're a lot of us are expecting that there's a lot of political posturing there, a lot of theater. Let's just hope it all ends peacefully, whatever it is. But let's hope we somehow manage to get this border situation contained. We're going to need a certain amount of immigrants to work things like crops and things like that. But guys, we need to know who's crossing the border. We need to vet them. If we had the border completely shut down, we wouldn't be worried about fentanyl. If the border was shut down, you know, the president of Mexico wouldn't be complaining about the armaments that the cartels are showing up with there. You wouldn't have the cartels so empowered, so rich that they could bully other nations like Ecuador, which they're staging a civil war in. You know, you can blame our open borders for, well, thank you, Jason, for the best heirloom seeds, corn, shop, ring. Oh, yeah, Jason's got stuff too. Check him out, guys. He's got some too. Check it all out. There's a lot of varieties when you go through all this stuff. All righty, folks. And this right here article in The Hill states that, hey, the immigration deal would only make the border crisis worse. Well, I'm glad to see that show up in this paper here, The Hill. So I got to stand with the House on not going along with this. So thank you for the super chat, Jason. Salute to you again. All righty, folks, let's move on here. And another Texas county declared invasion. Now, I have seen some treatises where people had published and talked about what was crossing the border and talked about what the founding fathers believed and thought and saw about these things, and was making a case that they would absolutely agree that even if it weren't for people coming across the border, it might mean it's ill intent, that this would still be classified an invasion. So these other articles back here that want to allege otherwise, they got a lot of challenge to them. In any event, oh yeah, and by the way, see what Biden really likes about this. See, the people in the blue states are now suddenly in the cities are getting unhappy because now they're discovering what it's like in their so-called sanctuary cities to have to deal with more people than their services can handle. Yeah, their social services can't handle all the people coming in. Now they're understanding what the people in the border states have been dealing with all along. And they're going, we really didn't mean it when we set up a sanctuary city. I guess that's what they're thinking. And so part of the whole purpose of that bill is to mollify them by pumping a bunch of money into them so the immigrants could just keep flooding in. I don't know, everything I've seen seems to indicate that they just want more of that. Why? Maybe it's to flip the elections. I don't know. Or, what are they risking to do that? They're risking all the drugs, the human trafficking, people coming to this country that want to do ill will to our nation, forming sleeper cells and the like. That is an invasion, and it should be stopped. Anyway, but like this article says, Texas don't want civil war. It says we want our Constitution back. Amen to that. Maybe, how about Articles of Confederation? That might be better. Okay, let's see here. I don't want to get these crazy ads. I get rid of that. Oh, no, it took me off the ad. Dang, I was trying to fold it up where I wouldn't see it, and look what it did. Can't get back to the article. Where am I at? Bang. All right. Hate these ads. Trying to hide it so I can scroll the article a little bit. There we go. The God's Army convoy traveling to Texas, it says 2 stop migrants Well, I don't know about that. I don't see them actually stopping migrants. You know, what they're doing is they're giving support through peaceful demonstration. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, anyway, they've seen vehicles lost, tires slashed, so they've been attacked. There's other things we need to talk about, like chicken plants catching fire, pipelines blowing up. What's going on with that, guys? Maybe it's got something to do with all the migrants. What do y'all think? Anyway, now the House Speaker has accused Biden of deliberately opening the border in his first floor speech as Speaker. Well, somewhere I saw a video in which Biden was actually seemingly calling for that before he became president. So wouldn't surprise me, guys. And what he said here is, we have a catastrophe at the southern borders because it has been deliberately opened wide, and we see the terrific horrors that are taking place across the border right now. That's what Johnson said. He says, I'm here this morning to beg my colleagues to help us force the administration to take action. Now, what is so wrong with that? I don't know, guys. Let's go here. Now, there was a bill that got put forward by the Republicans in the House to deport illegal immigrants with DUI convictions. Now, we're talking about people that cross the border illegally and then drive drunk in the United States. So that's two illegal acts. And the last one really puts people in peril. So why not at least get rid of the double lawbreakers? The good news is that some of the Democrats, probably from those cities that are being overcrowded by the influx. Now, what I understand is that actually Texas only bused 100,000 migrants into those cities. That's a small drop compared to what's been crossing the border, and they're already crying over that. They're not even facing what these other states have been dealing with all this time, and they're already crying over that. So, yeah, they don't even know what's hitting them. So, but some of them, actually, the good news is some of them voted with the Republicans to pass this bill to get the guys with the DUI convictions out. But then again, how are they going to go against mothers against drunk driving? It gets you in trouble. Yet, 2/3 of the House Democrats voted against the bill. 2/3. So that says 2/3 are for any kind of lawlessness, it seems. Lawlessness is good. You know, look in California where you can shoplift, and if it's not over a certain dollar value, that's okay. Well, how's the stores cope with that? You can't when you're a store and you're operating on a thin margin to stay alive, which is what they do. It means they shut down. It means communities don't have that service that store offered anymore. So it makes a mess. Yeah, the assaults have doubled, Brandy. And crime wave is kicked up all over the place. There's a lot of articles about that, and they're trying to play that down too. But it's all part of it, guys. So things need to be done. Things need to be changed. This is just one step. It needs to go bigger than that. But at least that's a first step. Yikes, guys. But how many times you see a report where someone crossed illegally, they got arrested for something else, and then turn loose again, and they come out and they do something worse? I mean, there's so many articles about that hitting the news now. All righty, so something clearly needs to be done. Yeah, that's true. If you keep saving crop seeds, you will get a plant that is more adjusted to your local environment too. And so they will grow and develop toward with an affinity to whatever the environmental condition is in which you raise it. It takes a while to culture your variants in that way, but it does work over time. Man, I was planting this okra for several years, this Star David okra, and I hadn't planted it for a few years, and I think I have a hard time planting. Last time I did an experiment planting it, deer ate it all. I planted it late and the deer ate it, so it didn't grow up. But if you see some of these pictures on my channel with me look like I'm standing in the woods, I had a forest of okra way up over my head, and it made nice pods. I love that stuff. And the Star David okra was better even at a bigger pod than a lot of other okra. So you could get some nice sized pods for eaten. I love okra. Anyway, but it did adapt very nicely. It wasn't, after a few years, it wasn't like what it started out. Now, it might have mixed a little bit with some other variants. I think it did do some mixing. It made some huge pods, though. Star David pods are typically really short. Mine got a little bit longer. All righty. So, but short but fat. So here we are, guys. This is what you need to know. Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm. This is what FBI Director Christopher Wray had to say. And there's been plenty on that lately. They've also infiltrated home Wi-Fi routers to attack infrastructure. Wow. Maybe I need to start offering VPN services. That's probably something I'm going to do. Chinese goons plan to interfere in the societal chaos in the United States. No kidding. Wow. To wreak havoc on our infrastructure and cause societal changes. Now, do you think they're going to do, if you think that, given that we find things like biolabs in Reedy, California, if you think that the Chinese are going to be content to do all this with just hacking and nothing else, put a 1 in the chat room. If you think that they would potentially activate sleeper cells, especially if we got in a conflict with China, put a 2 in the chat room. What do y'all really think? You think that they would activate all these military-age young men who many believe are members of the Chinese military across the border and go straight to the nug range and start feeding kibbles to their nugs real fast? If you think we got more to worry about than hackers, put a 2 in the chat room. But hackers are bad enough. Get some 2s. I hadn't seen no 1s. My husband and mother love okra. Oh, yeah. Oh, you hate okra? Well, bless your heart, Michelle. All right. You got a lot of 2s. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. And that's why I would consider, and the number of Chinese illegals went up 300% last year and probably going higher this year. So suddenly there's a huge influx of military-age young men from China coming across. And they seem to be sponsored all the way from South America, where they enter up through Central America. There are YouTube channels that follow them, have followed them from their point of entry in South America, like Colombia and places like that, Ecuador, and follow them all the way to the border, and then caught up with them once they crossed the border to see what they were doing. And it's scary. Now, they showed video of the whole 9 yards. So don't take my word for it. Anyway, and as we can see, China seeks to encircle the Philippines, Marcos at home and at sea. They're trying to isolate them politically, and they've just put something like 200 so-called merchant marine ships there to Second Thomas Shoal, where they have their Sierra Madre ship grounded to be a base there. So it's pretty darn scary what's happening over there. It is really scary what's happening with the Philippines. And China has been extremely aggressive over there. So now the next question is, are U.S. and Iran already at war? Of course, some people will say no. But what is 166 attacks by Iranian proxies on U.S. forces throughout the Mideast equate to? A Sunday school class? What is it? It's not war. What is it? But Colorado Jen, you don't like okra either? Well, bless your heart too. Oh, I love okra. One of my favorites. But anyway, this whole situation is, right now they're acting like they don't want to do anything, but the potential for escalation is extremely high. Biden's tough talk. No action strategy has earned him no respect from Iran. Well, that's true. Tough guys don't respect people that aren't tough. But on the other hand, we shouldn't have been over there in the first place in those places. That's what I was saying way back when. We shouldn't have been over there to have been easy targets from the get-go. But, of course, that's exactly what Skozin had suggested, they were there for on one of Nate's videos with a Canadian prepper. So I don't know, guys, so maybe their whole, well, we don't want to escalate, we don't want a war. Maybe that's just political theater too. I don't know. Now, we're saying we're going to hit back at these militias, but they're suspending operations. They're going undercover for a bit. Some of them are. So where are we going to hit at? And so we said we're going to hit Iranian nationals outside of Iran. But it says that they're pulling their commanders from Syria, supposedly because they're afraid of Israeli events, not necessarily what the United States will do. Interesting. So who are we to target with this so-called retaliation that we're talking about? Then Iran, of course, warns it will act decisively if attacked and won't leave any threat unanswered. Well, that's probably true, but if I'm going to be talking like that, they might be a little bit closer to having some ginormous firecrackers, if you know what I'm talking about. Kind that splits atoms, or maybe worse yet, the ones that fuse atoms. That's what is believed that they're working on, guys. Thermonuclear. Anyway, fusing atoms. That's the hydrogen bomb. So, yeah, U.S. officials have confirmed to Communist Broadcasting System news that plans have been approved for a series of strikes over a number of days against targets, including Iranian personnel and facilities inside Iraq and Syria. Well, we're just seeing where they're pulling people out of that, so I don't know what that's going to amount to, but we shall find out. So far, nothing. We've moved all our chess pieces, but what might happen? I don't know. But we still have the daily tit for tat between the Houthis and American warships. And a U.S. warship had a close call. They said it had to maneuver to keep them getting struck. Houthis claim they've hit a U.S. container ship in the Red Sea as America carries out fresh strike on the rebel group's drones in Yemen. So, yeah, we're striking them. So U.S. downs drones off Yemen and strikes an uncrewed surface vessel. And now Israel is claiming some victory in the Gaza Strip. The Gazans have taken it hard, as would be expected. So I don't know, guys. This whole thing is, I don't see any de-escalation. Right now we're having like the quiet before the storm. What's next? What's the next shoe to drop? And we can't forget Russia is still out there, and NATO is making allegations that Russia has a war plan aimed at dominating Europe within 10 years. I don't think Russia had ever really planned to dominate all of Europe. But they definitely would like to close some gaps, like I've mentioned from the get-go. So I don't know. If they do that, it would definitely be with the use of those big firecrackers I was talking about earlier. So here's another question. Should the United States keep supporting Ukraine? Now, I know you guys are somewhat divided on that. So love boiled peanuts. I love peanuts. Boiled peanuts aren't my favorite peanut, but I'll eat them too. I like them dry roasted personally. But anyway, so let's see here. Makes a 3% brine, ferment your okra in an airlock and put 1 or 2 cayennes in there. Oh, that sounds great, Jason. That sounds like some good fine eating. I'll take okra any way I get it, boiled, fried, whatever. All right, I've even ate it raw. So here's the next question. Hey, Alaska, so good. Well, we got 2 Alaskans in here tonight. Very good. So tell me this. If you think the United States should keep supporting Ukraine, put a 3 in the chat room. If you think it's time to no longer send any support to Ukraine, put a 4 in the chat room. I'd like to see what you guys think about it. Should the United States support Ukraine? 3 yes, 4 no. I'd like to see where you guys are standing on this. So, there was an article, I'm not putting that article up tonight, but there was an article out there which said the Republicans need to quit playing games with Ukraine funding and tying it to the border. Well, what they don't understand is the Republicans don't want to fund Ukraine at all. The only reason the Republicans are talking about funding Ukraine is to get support to close the border, because they think they might get the Democrats to go along with it. Actually, the Republicans, except for maybe Lindsey Graham and maybe Mitch McConnell, those rhino ones, aside from the rhino ones, especially the ones in the House, they don't want to see any support. They don't want to do it at all. So, those Democrats that were making those assertions, well, you need to quit playing with that and just get Ukraine funded and quit tightening the border. They don't realize you ain't going to get money for Ukraine if you don't close the darn border. At least we hope that's the case. Carter grew peanuts. That he did. And I've been down there to Plains, Georgia. I've been through the area where his farms are at. I've even been to the steps of his high school. And I think I did a video from there some time back. And I showed his big smiling peanut face down there. I've heard that he used to raise worms at the Carter farm down there. It's something I heard once upon a time. So, well, I don't see much support for sending more money to Ukraine. I didn't expect to see that in the this chat room. So, now if you think otherwise, don't hold back. But I don't see anybody supporting more money to Ukraine. We got a lot of business to take care of, and I think the biggest priority we've got in this country is securing our border. Russia's not a threat to the United States. It's a threat to maybe to Europe. It's a threat to Eastern Europe, the former Russian states, many of which are in NATO now. Us having a membership in NATO might make it a threat to us. But the next question is, should the United States even remain in NATO? And last time I asked that question, y'all were saying no. A survey popped up. Do you think illegal immigrants should get Social Security? Oh, yeah, I've been seeing that. I have been seeing it. Heck no, we paid into it. They haven't paid into it. Why in the world should they just come in illegally and draw money on a system that we've paid into, which is on the precipice of being broke? So I say heck no to that one. That's my call. But okay, let's see what y'all think about it. If you think illegal immigrants ought to get Social Security and all these social benefits, put a 5 in the chat room if you think they should get it. If you think that they should not get it, put a 6. No NATO. There are no seeds being planted from Poland to Germany. Ireland. Oh, wow. Yeah, the farmers are protesting over there. I can blame them. No one should remain in NATO. All right, let's vote the question I asked, and then we might have to ask NATO. All right. 6. There we go. Just what I thought. So if you think we should stay in NATO, put a 7. If you think we need to get out of NATO, put an 8. Let's see what y'all think about NATO tonight. I skipped the survey. It was a trap. They're always watching. Oh, what the heck with them? Mike's not ready. All right. 7, stay in NATO. 8, get out. I imagine you would say the same about the UN. And that's where I'm at. I think the UN ought to get on the boat and sail to Europe. And why are we putting so much money into it? Nothing wrong with a mutual defense organization, but one whose purpose is to resist a non-existent enemy is just silly. Yeah, there was no enemy and we had it in place. Hey, Denny Howell. Yeah, what's it good for? Getting us into a war. That's what it's good for. Smedley Butler, U.S. troops should never go to more than 500 miles from U.S. border. Well, the founding fathers of the United States did not even like the idea of a standing army. They were really opposed to the idea of a standing army. We've had a big standing military ever since WWII. And we had a little bit of one before, after WWIII. They did not like that idea. To them, we should only have militias. Now, quite frankly, the United States is a really big country. If we had just militias, everybody was armed in this country, who would really want to invade us as if we had border control? Who would really want to invade the United States? How far would they get? Do we really need all this stuff we got? I mean, who would invade this country from anywhere? The only reason that we need all the so-called militaries is because we've projected so much power. Now, we do have a couple states that are far flung, like Alaska and Hawaii. We need a bigger Coast Guard. There's almost no Coast Guard guarding Alaska. We definitely need a bigger Coast Guard. But we've let the government get too big, and it is breaking us. We're almost $33 trillion in debt, heading there in a hurry. So, what to tell us, all wars are banker wars. That's the old saying, right? Yeah, send all the UN to Brussels. Tell them goodbye. New York City mayor thinks that your speech is an environmental threat. Oh my gosh, how many ways they want to come after speech? They told us it was against social justice, and now it's an environmental threat. Somebody's afraid it might be misinformation. Who determines what's misinformation? The House of Klaus? I don't know, guys. So, yeah, but they ain't gonna take Alaska back. Alaskans aren't going to have no part of that. They'd be the first ones that stopped it. When I was in Alaska, the civilians were better armed than the military, and I was in the Army then. I was happy to see how well the civilians were armed because I figured they were the ones that was going to defend us. It wasn't that the Army was going to defend Alaska. The civilians would have defended the military. That's what I thought when I was up there. Yeah, my unit didn't even have a rifle for everybody, but the civilians were definitely armed to the teeth. Anyway. Well, now here's an interesting. America's enemies are hoping we go green. Why? It take our economy down. That's why. Russia, China, and Iran. Yeah, there's old Rick Perry. Remember him? Former governor of Alaska, who seemed to be kind of in favor of Texit, or not necessarily Texas at the time, but he definitely supported the 10th Amendment. Anyway, now here's a good one. Decades of research show coffee makes you healthier and happier. Of course, they're saying you might want to, it gives you energy boost, but you might want to lay off of it from time to time for the energy boost. But they're saying here that it fights a lot of the adverse things that we deal with in life, like Alzheimer's and just numerous other health conditions that are associated with aging. So, you remember that stupid talk at Klaus's forum, where the guy he said, every time you drink coffee, you're putting carbon in the atmosphere. Well, hey, you eco thugs, keep your grubby paws off my coffee mugs. That's what I got to say. Yeehaw to coffee. I don't take my sleep lying down. I take it in the mug. Black Pyramid in Alaska. I don't know about a Black Pyramid, Robert Hargis, but if you go along the Richardson Highway, there is a pyramid mountain there. I've seen it. Looks just like a pyramid. I took a 20-mile road hike through there one night in Alaska. And that was a nice little trip. That wasn't the one where I got left out in the wilderness by myself 20 miles out. That was an inadvertent hike. Yeah, I made a few 20-mile hikes in my life. Some you had to take the military. That one I took, well, actually I was with the Boy Scout troop. Ed Kiker, he got me involved with the Boy Scout. He's also left me out in the wilderness. That was earlier. Anyway, guys, here it says Iran has a shot at sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier. Can you believe that, guys? Well, Iran's got a lot of missiles. If they could do a saturation attack, it would oversaturate the Aegis destroyers and their SM-2 missiles, the SM-3 SM-6s that they got. SM-6s are the ones that can be used to take out satellites and intercontinental ballistic missiles. SM-2s are the more of the theater battle missile they're on as Aegis destroyers and other destroyers in the fleet. But I've showed those and talked to them in great detail and talked about the capabilities of each of those missiles, the phalanx guns, and all the other armaments that are available to defend an aircraft carrier group. But if they could be overcome or oversaturated, it would be possible. We rule ourselves here already. That's right, Jason. We don't need no stinking much more help on that, do we? Anyway, guys, talking about the green stuff, just to kind of wax green here for a moment. There's this one guy who's got some kind of plant here that's worth $15,000 per leaf. And I think this guy's in Britain. Where's he at? Show Maiden, I don't know. I think he's in somewhere over in your neck of the woods, on your side of the pond. Yeah. Tony Le Breton from Britain. He's in Gloucestershire. If I say that close, in England. So he's got some really rare plant, and it's this. Well, I can't pronounce that. I'm sure Jason could pronounce that. He's really good at pronouncing all these plant names, all that Latin stuff. I don't speak Latin. Only Latin I speak is ig pay atenle. I peak say ig pay atenle. That's the only Latin I can speak. Let's see. Delofia Terrasperma variegata. I don't know, as close as I can get to it. Anyway, if you got that plant, it's worth a ton of money, apparently. But you gotta know where to market it. Because it's rare, it's not even listed. But it must be, it's got a Latin name. So, what's this thing? It comes from Bolivia, I guess. So that just goes to show if you're in the right niche, well, those leaves. That guy's making a ton of money. He grows these inside the house in one of the rooms in his grandmother's house, mother's house. I don't know. He's making a killing. Yeah, that one's a mouthful. Yeah, well, thank you. If it's a mouthful from you, I sure don't feel too bad about it. All right. So we're not going to throw up a lot of news articles tonight. It's late. I don't want to be in here all night. Got things to do. We got some fresh quakes, including one over in Texas or New Mexico. One of the two. Where's that at? White City, New Mexico. We see a lot in White City. Right around there in New Mexico, Texas area. That's a big earthquake. Looks like there's two circles there. Yep, there's another one. That's in Toya, Texas. So, yeah, right in that area, there's a lot of earthquakes. Well, look here. We got two over here. Pinus, California. Well, zoom in. We're going to grab the outer circle. The outer circle is really tight there. Circle size is not changing. There's two circles there. That's right close to the San Andreas. So that one's a 3.3. And the inner one is a 2-something. 2.8. Pretty close in size. Yeah, so right here, that's one of White Cities. That was a 2.6. The one over in Texas, right next to it, was a 2.6. Okay, same size. We got one probably in Quebec. All right, maybe Montreal. Yeah, but I mean no, that's not Ottawa. What do you call it? Shoot, I'm getting brain locked right now. Yeah, that's in Canada, Huntington, Canada. Interesting. And of course, for our Alaskan buddies up here, got a bunch of earthquakes up there, the little ones. Living good. 2.6. Roadhouse. Eureka Roadhouse. What if that's on the Richardson Highway? The dog needs to go out. We'll let your dog out. Over 50,000 kinds of dahlias, 35,000 daylilies. I don't know how many thousands of cannas. Wow. Yeah, there's. All right, find the dust. Yeah, you make a living from them. That's a good idea. Got one offshore here. 3.1. 2.5. Yeah, Alaska's always got a lot of locations. In Canada there. No, it says Alaska. Well, don't look like it on the map because that's the border of Alaska right there. I don't know. Maybe these circles are a little bit off. Let's scroll out a little bit here. So what else happening in the world? Well, Puerto Rico is shaking. Means the folks down there dancing tonight. Got one over in the Dominican Republic, looks like. Yep, 3.6. Yeah, the Philippines, Barcelona, 5.1 over here. The Tonga area, Hi-Hi-Fo, Tonga, 5.0. Nakuni, I guess that's how you said it. I don't know. Japan got a 4.4. South America's quiet. Interesting. Europe is quiet on earthquakes. All that area, you usually see some in there. Pretty quiet. All right, so the earthquake map is not too eventful tonight. That's good news. No major sunspots at the moment looking at us. That's good news, although they say we're going to get grazed by a CME G1 class. That's nothing I would be too scared about. Oh, yeah, for all you flat earthers, that is the Van Allen belts. This is the thick one. It's so bad. If you want to go to the moon, you just go outside of it. You go north. There's plenty of room to get around it. In fact, you could even go through a little bit of it, because what gets you on radiation is dose times time. How long are you? Well, total dose is the dose rate times the time you're getting the dose rate. That's how you get a dose. So if you go through the thin areas and you go through it fast, you don't have as much to worry about. Now, if you decided to loiter in this area, you'd be in big trouble. The outer belt is not as bad as the inner belt. This is the intense belt here. So you want to get around it, just fly over it a little bit. Even fly through it a little bit, even down here. As long as you're not going through this part here, you're okay. Because it's thin here. Approximate schematic showing relation of human space activities, the Van Allen belts, is relatively much high density debris, artificial plasma dust, and human space activities are occurring, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, okay. Yeah, so most of our orbit stuff, LEO, it does touch these just a little bit. Meter ablation zone. So this is not the scale, because Earth's 8,000 miles in diameter. Low Earth orbit's, just a couple hundred miles above the Earth, which, if you were looking at satellites orbiting Earth, it'd be like almost on this blue line right here, if that was 8,000, just to give you some real extent of what it means. All right, let's get out of that. Let's look at the aurora right now. Oh, hey, is Arnold in the house? If he's in northern Alberta, he might be seeing something. Oh, that's interesting. Best way to tell, look at the roots. If there's a bulb with layers like an onion, but no onion odor or taste, it's likely poisonous. That's some good advice. Interesting. Can't type. I can't type either. So that's some good information. Thank you, Jason. Jason's always got he's a storehouse of good information, especially on plants. He is brilliant in those respects. Asteroids. I always see articles in the news talking about an asteroid big as the Empire State Building, or sometimes it's big as 2 ducks, stupid stuff like that. It's whizzing by the Earth, but it might be missing us like, 12 lunar distances or something. They'll make some big deal out of it. Biggest one on the charts right now looks like this, 256 meters. I was 285. Okay, that one supposed to whiz by today sometime. But it's going to be 7.5 times the lunar distance, which means it's going to be a long way out there. It means nearly 250,000 miles away, 230 some odd thousand miles. So this is 7.5 times farther than that. Yeah, that's going to miss us by a long shot. So there's nothing on here that we know of to lose sleep over, at least right now, at least up through the end of March. Nothing. Well, there's always stuff we discover after the fact, or maybe right when it's close to us that hadn't got on the charts. But so far, there's nothing we know about within the next couple of months that pose a grave risk to Earth. That's good news. If they ever discover such a thing, I'll let you know. Okay, New Days, you got some snow falling up there. It looks like it. Looks like you got some snow. We got some snow in Arizona. Looks like maybe just south of Show Low. Maybe Show Low's in. I don't think so. That little south. Let's see here. Yeah, it is in Show Low. Okay, Show Low's getting a little bit of that snow. We got Keith in Arizona, or we got Jesse Mills in the house. That's a rain snow mix right there. So Shellow's getting some. Shellow's 34, Snowflake's 37. So far, Snowflake's getting spared of the snowflakes. Let's kind of run it forward in time. Let's see what this does. Is it going north? No, it's not going north. Yeah, there it does. Looks like my place will get a little snow. Just briefly. All right, let's go back in time. Let's reset the current. There we go. Whoop, I went a little early. Bing. There we go. Back out. $34 in Snowflake compared to where I'm at now. Unspatch is 39. Ardmore's 39. So I guess that's about what it is out here now. It got pretty cool. It got below freezing last night, but you know, maybe 28. All right, up here in New Days country, Houghton is 30. Definitely, she must have some snow. All right, we got Rodney from down under. We got Cowgirl in Arizona. And there she is. We'll go back to Arizona in a minute. We got anybody from up in the Northeast besides New Days? Brick, New Jersey. That's a good name. Brick. It's a solid name. 39 and Brick. All 30s. Now we got Altoona, Alabama, by the way. Altoona in Pennsylvania also. West by Golly, Virginia is from the 30s to the 40s. Virginia is 30s and 40s. North Carolina is mostly in the 40s, except the Smokies is in the 30s. Now, we get a lot of preppers up in this area who come into our channel. A lot of preppers living up in through here. It's a good place for prepping, although I wouldn't want to be in this area because there's so many nuclear power plants around Chattanooga. Just at Chattanooga and just north of Chattanooga, there's a lot of nuclear power there. I wouldn't want to be too close to that stuff. Well, it's stinking hot and 96 degrees today and stinking hot tomorrow down here. Oh, Lord. We'll go there in a minute. All right, LA. Let's have a look at LA. It's 44 to 46 and 44 in LA. That's Lower Alabama, for those that don't know. Making Bacon's at 39. Hotlanta's 41. Nashville's 41. Indianapolis is 34. Ohio, you got a lot of 30s and 40s across the state, 30s in the north, 40s in the south. 30s, well, about the same in Illinois. Iowa, 30s. Whoops, we knocked it off here. You like making bacon? Minnesota, 20s in northern Minnesota. You don't warm up till 30 until you get in the very southern part of the state, Brian Perendi. We know you're chilly. North Dakota's in the 30s. South Dakota's even cooler. Look at that. 20s. South Dakota's got some cooler temperatures. Nebraska, 30s. Wyoming 30 is 20s in the south. Montana, Missoula is 30. That's a pretty area right around there in the mountains. This is the Bitterroot mountain chain right here on the border of Idaho and Montana. Some really pretty mountains through there. One of the prettiest areas in the lower 48. I do think Alaska is the prettiest state I've ever seen. So that's why I say one of the prettiest areas in the lower 48. I've not been to Hawaii, so I can't judge Hawaii, but the prettiest state I ever saw, I'd have to say, is Alaska. It's gorgeous in Alaska, but it's just like a woman. Beautiful, but deadly. Oh, the weather up there don't forgive you. It'll bite you in a minute. All right, Lost Wages is 43. Lost Angels is 46. Phoenix is a balmy 53 degrees. Tucson 52. Wilcox 44. All right, y'all got some 40s and 50s there in southern Arizona and 30s in northern Arizona. In Grannyland, got a lot of snow up in Utah. Lots of snow. But it's not that cold. Here it's in the 40s, but here you got 32. Cedar City's 30. Provo, 35. Slick, Salt Lake City's 37. Ogden's 34. I spent many a night in Ogden. I go up here to the rocket plant in the daytime. I've driven through some good snow in Utah. Nevada's got a lot of 30s. All right. West Wokistan and Oregon, mostly 40s on the coast and 30s inland, all the way down to 30. Kind of much the same way. Washington State's a little warmer in spots, even on the east. They are 40 over here, 41. 41 here, but Yakima's 34. All right. Alberta. There's Jason Smith in the house. Red Deer 30. Brooks 32. How come Dawson City don't just pop up in here when I'm scanning? I have to scan down to find Edmonton 34. Let's go to Alaska. We got two people from Alaska in the house. -6 in Valdez. Oh, Anchorage is a -10. Delta Junction, -28. Okay, now we're talking. But you got pretty cold down there. See, where's Wasilla at? Mag Horizons in Wasilla. Alaska Soul, where you at? Wasilla is a -17. That's pretty darn cold for down in the banana belt of Alaska. -17 in Wasilla. I think Sarah Palin's down at the border, though, in Texas right now, so she's probably missing out on that. That's Sarah Palin's hometown. That was once going to be the capital city of Alaska. They were really trying to move it, and they decided it was too expensive to do, and they ditched the plan. But at one time, they were looking at making Wasilla the state capital. They want to get the state capital more back to the center of the state. Tanana, -37. -42 up here. All right, we got some -40s in Alaska now. Man, I used to see a lot of that. It just don't get as cold as it used to. I know up in the Brooks Range, -29. You got two major mountain chains in Alaska. You got the Brooks Range up here and Alaska Range in the south. As part of that, we call the Granite Mountains also. And from Fort Greely, you could look south and see Mount Deborah and Mount Hayes. Now, Mount Hayes is where, what's her name? It used to report on the cattle mutilation. She always thought it was a UFO base. No, it's not. Delta Junction was so small and Fort Greely was so small. Everybody knew everybody and knew everything about everybody. And there wasn't no operation like that going to be hidden up there. Trust me, I know that. Besides that, you could look, if what she was saying was true, you'd be able to detect some roads and activity around Mount Hayes and maybe some tailings, some diggings. You don't see none of that. You look at it in Google Earth. I actually went back and looked at Kotzebue, minus 19. Gnomes, minus 15. Alaska, so oh snaps, I need to show Greg the slippers. I'm going to send them on Discord. Oh no. Slippers? Is this some Discord feature? Now I'll get over here to Siberia and see if you see something colder. Sometimes Siberia, there's a minus 44, minus 40. Sometimes we've seen minus 50s in Siberia. I don't see it today. Minus 44, that's the coldest I'm seeing. Yeah, it's usually this eastern part of Siberia that's coldest. Yeah, minus 24 through there. Yeah, Siberia ain't got nothing that bad. And we're getting over toward Europe. Back up a little bit. We're still way up northern Siberia. Siberia is huge. All right, this map is way off. Let me hit the refresh. It's got everything off. All right, Norway. We got Norway in the house. We got some snow in Norway and a little bit in Sweden. Looks like the coast, though, is getting a strong Gulf breeze blowing it, so it's going to be warm right there. Oslo is probably pretty warm. 34 in Oslo, but it's 46 right here, 44 there. Bergen's 44. Stavanger, 46. All right, looks like 50 degrees all across England and much of Scotland. 52 in Inverness. Dublin, 52. 52 in Dingle. Any berries in Dingle? Dingleberries? It's cooler in Spain than in England. How about that? It's cooler in Paris. That just shows you the power of this Gulf Stream blowing in there. Siberia ain't no place to raise a kid. In fact, it's cold as ice. Cold as ice. Oh, yeah. Song. Cold as ice. All right. Vladimir Zelensky is at 35. Lukashenko is at 28. Vladimir Putin's at 30. Putinville is 30 degrees. Putinville. And as usual, a lot of rain here in the tropics. Wee. Lots of rain. I bet WWIII is, look here, I was about to say 82. It's 84. Yeah, WWIII is pretty steady there in the tropics. Darwin's 86. There, Birdsville, 106. Alice Springs, 98. Alice Springs been sitting in the high 90s for a while. Balgo, 104. Warburton, 102. Perth is 91. Warmed up over there, but get down into Sydney, 73. Canberra, 71. Melbourne, 64. I bet Melbourne, Florida is a lot warmer than that. Hobart down in Tasmania, 55 degrees. We find in New Zealand, 50s, 60s, 50 to Dundee, and up to 68 in Auckland. They got quite a bit of wind blowing there through New Zealand, especially in the Northern Island there. Ronnie says, hi to Tracy. A real good general be still to expose himself in these times. Good morning, Tracy. Ukraine's a lost cause. Yeah, I think so. You know, look, guys, I was pretty much convinced of that when they claimed to broke through the Russian lines and didn't do anything with it. You break through the enemy lines, you make a march right then. You go around and you try to do an in maneuver and come in behind them. When they failed to do that, I decided they were over. They need a peace treaty over here. They need to make a peace treaty and let the Donbass area of Donetsk and Donetsk go to Russia, because that's what they want there anyway. And they need to make a peace treaty. Just agree to the lines they got and be done with it. That's my humble opinion. Because all they're doing is sending each other through the meat grinder, chewing up a lot of young souls on both sides. It's tragedy. Special operations are a huge tragedy, in my humble opinion. Stop the share. Halo. Arkansas Rose. How you doing, Arkansas Rose? Ukrainian armed forces loses in January exceeded 23,000. Ooh. You know, I'm seeing articles saying, well, the Russians are losing so many they can't afford it. They're got big attrition on them. Well, that may be true, but it's worse than Ukraine. Because Ukraine is, they got a smaller population to draw from. We can send new weapons over there, but we can't make new Ukrainians. I think they really need to negotiate a peace deal. Stop the fighting. The New Zealand government is in talks with my government and wanting to boost their military spending by 2%, want closer ties with AUKUS. Well, yeah, they're wide open down there. They're totally vulnerable to China. Look at Australia, huge land with very few people. I'm sure China's licking her chops looking at Australia. 2 is enough to run everyone. Talking about war. Zelensky, a hero, some great man or leader. Come on, folks. His prompters are selling you. I'm not seeing any big Zelensky fans in here. If you're a big Zelensky fan, put a 9 in the chat room. If not, put a 10. 26 million. What's that? Their total population? Oh, that's your population in Australia, right? Not a lot of people for a nation that big, for an area that large. What's population in Canada? It's like 35 million. Pretty much, it's pretty close. Forget what they're doing, think on what. Oh, okay. Yeah. No big fans for Zelensky. What happened, says Tracy Broken Wings? Well, it's like the world's waiting to see what the United States is going to do. How's the United States going to respond to Iran? And what it looks like is we're supposed to be targeting it looks like we're going to be raining in Gilbert, Arizona. Hey, Sub-Zero. I guess it's not Sub-Zero temperatures where you're at. They're not going to tell us the real numbers. That's true. And war is an abomination. Have to stand for the truth. Amen. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the truth out here. Whatever it is, we're trying to find it and get it out here. What I'm worried about is martial law. All those government agencies and all the bureaucracies we got in D.C., they know that the American public's getting tired of them. They know that we really don't want them to be so big. And because of that, they're not going to be happy. Catfish biting at Merritt Island, Florida. That's good to hear, Edith. That's good news. Oh, yeah. Merritt Island. That's down where NASA's at. Been there many times. I'm going back to what. Yeah, okay, you can do that, Tracy. I go through the news in the beginning, and then we go through chat. That's for those people that want to watch us with their coffee in the morning. If they just want to get the news, they can watch the first part. And if they want to catch everything else, they can watch the whole thing. It's raining where you're at in Colorado. Wow, now she's up at some elevation. What's your elevation there, Colorado, Jen? You're like 8,000 or 9,000 feet. You're way up there. Have to dig through a lot of dung to find the diamonds. That's the truth. Gaza's completely level. Yeah, Gaza's. Well, not want to be in Gaza. I just saw a guy. There was a YouTuber down on following the trucker convoy, and he caught up with a guy who said that he's going to retire and go to Israel. for his retirement. He was like an American. I don't think I'd want to retire over there. I wouldn't mind visiting just to see a lot of those historic grounds, but I would, I would not want to retire there. There's some places I would not want to live after all this shooting, because there's so much hatred over there. After all the shooting, it is the people that are in resistance that determine who or what rules, because following or obeying is a choice. It always has been, always will be. Pink Floyd fan. Yeah, Pink Floyd has some good music. Some good music. I'm in a valley. Oh, you're at 4,000 feet. Oh, my place in Snowflake is higher than yours. I'm at 5,560 feet. My place varies in altitude. It varies probably about 60 feet. So it's an excellent property because it's got variation on the property. It's 40 acres, which isn't ginormous. Hey, Brian, how you doing this morning? Well, yeah, we looked at Minnesota a little bit ago. A lot of 20s up there, right? So yeah, we're not fans of war on this channel. We're not into that. We don't want it. It's a game that the powers that be play on us. But it could be this whole theater in Texas and all this stuff with Iran, and it may all be an excuse to try to clamp down martial law. Maybe they would suspend the elections. There's a lot of bureaucrats who would love that because they would keep them in a job. 38 degrees, okay. Because there's a lot of us thinking that there's too many of them. Why? If you think there should be more people in the U.S. Department of Agriculture than there are farmers in America, put 11 in the chat room. If you think that's too many, put a 12 in the chat room. If you think there should be more people working for the Department of Agriculture than there are farmers in America, put 11 in the chat room. If you think that's too many, put a 12. I'd just like to see what you guys think about it. Because here's the truth. There are more people working for the USDA than there are farmers in the USA. Now, how does that make any kind of sense? I get these surveys sent to me, telling me that if I don't answer it, I could be fined under penalty of law for thousands of dollars. I don't send them back in. It's like, are you kidding me? You want to know every little thing? No. Because I know there's that NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, and they can commandeer any kind of production they want to. 64. All right, so martial law would give them their permanent. Oh yeah, we don't need none of that. Africa, the need food basket of the world. Africa's got a lot of potential if they could get past all the little tribal warfare and get over that. Africa's huge. Africa's got resources. Africa could grow food. Africa could be very prosperous, and they got a young labor pool in Africa. Africa could be the dominant power in the world if they would just overcome all their little tribalisms and warfare. A successful country is one which can support itself and feed and clothe its population. Amen. That I agree with. And you know what? Yeah, Jason and I have done some videos, and I've kind of expanded on that since, and I've also gone to the farm in Pasadena, California, and shown how they're growing enough food on 1/10 of an acre to support 4 people. How they actually make a living off of it. They don't grow the grain there, but they're the Vase family. The family of 4. Now, the dad died, so there's no longer 4 people, but it was 4 when he was alive. I met him, but he was already passed away the next time I went up there to that farm, unfortunately. Really good man, good soul. But his kids have kept up his tradition in running that farm. And I got a lot of admiration for them because they grow enough food on 1/10 of an acre to feed them with grain products aside, but they also sell from that and make a living. Now they live meager, but they're well adjusted and happy within what they have. They got enough to sustain them, and they're independent. They're not part of the rat race, and they're real happy with that. And so my hat is off to the DeVace family. But also, if you look at the videos where Jason and I were talking, you literally can grow an enormous amount of food on a tenth of an acre. Now, I mentioned that, and somebody in Vermont says, oh, I'm up here where it's too cold. We couldn't possibly do it in Vermont. But New Days does it in Maine, where it's even colder. She does that. She grows crazy amounts of food on very small piece of land. Now, she does pre-start things in a greenhouse. Well, it's part of her house. I think I can cope without bananas. But if you put in a greenhouse, especially a Wallapini type greenhouse, you can grow bananas, even in England. There's this guy up in where is he, in Nebraska? He's got these underground greenhouses. Old man up in Nebraska. He's got all kind of tropical fruit grove trees inside an underground greenhouse. Like the RAF symbol. Yeah. Shield Maiden. I guess that RAF symbol is her shield. And Shield Maiden says that she supports her man in war. Maybe she's out there in it herself. Shield Maiden is right there at the combat site. So won't get fooled again with what was released in June of 71. So the whole point of that is, in the United States, we got 42 million acres of lawns. That's enough to feed 1.8 billion people. This whole idea we can't support ourselves is nuts. And it can all be done with almost zero carbon footprint, against all these reports I was showing you guys. If you grow your food in such a way that you don't have to go to the store. And it's absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. Save your seeds. Was in the RAF once as a combat medic. Well, salute to you. That's awesome. Simon Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence. I always loved that. Sounds of Silence. Do, 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 do. I love that one. I always loved that one. That's kind of a bubblegum rock. I never was a big fan of the bubblegum stuff, but I love that one. I think it was a very profound piece of music. Very profound. I thought about maybe trying to reword that and play it, making something on that for some other things, because that's an awesome, powerful song. Have 2 busted up greenhouses from snow. Yeah, I was trying to reinforce mine from snow and wind got it. So banana would grow rapidly under big grow lights. Oh yeah. But there's people growing banana trees in earthship houses up in Colorado and different places like that. I've seen them. I think they're real popular in a lot of the earthships in Taos, New Mexico. Well, my universal habitat you've seen on my Green Greg's channel and even on my Galactic Greg's channel is kind of like an earthship on steroids. You could grow them in that. Basic agroforestry, 3 layers, only feeds 12 people per acre. So that's pretty good though. And that's pretty darn good. It's the sort of thing that can be always on. You go get food and eat when you're hungry. That's right. You don't have to cuts down refrigeration needs, transportation needs, packaging needs. You get the stuff when it's fresh. It's when you get the most vitamin content in a vegetable is when it's fresh. Oh yeah. So when you freshly pick it, that's the best you can get. This stuff that's grown in the stores, those tomatoes are picked green. So if you ever notice they got a terrible texture and it kind of tastes like a wet something, but yeah, if you really want a good tomato flavor, get a vine ripened tomato. That's when it tastes the way a tomato was meant to taste, not this junk you get in the store. Same way with carrots. The carrots you get are like hard pieces of wood, and the flavor is kind of like cardboard with a little bit of carrot flavor added. You get the carrot, if you grow your own carrots, you can grow all kind of varieties, or if you get them in a farmer's market, they're sweet, they're tender, you can get different colors. This stuff, it won't survive on the store shelf though for long. But oh my God, they're like 100% better and better for you. It's better for you and to grow your own. It's you get a psychological benefit from growing stuff. It actually adds to longevity. My dad lived to be he lived to be 3 weeks shy of 99 years old. He grew a garden until he was probably mid 90s, probably 95 or 6. And the only reason he stopped was because he was caring for his wife in the nursing home. She was 20 years younger than him. He outlived her. But that's the only reason he quit. But he mowed his own yard the year he passed away. He lived by himself. He drove a pickup truck, and lived by himself, cooked and cleaned. And if you went to see him, he'd just as soon tease you than eat when he was hungry. And he could cook. He was a darn good cook. Made some awesome pies. So my dad, I've seen him one time grow 7 acres of garden. About when he was my age, or maybe even a little older. He had a 7-acre garden. He just gave it away. He wasn't growing it to sell it. He just loved gardening. He would put up a lot of food, a lot of stuff. He put back a lot of food. But that's the way people used to be. People used to grow food and put back years of food because they knew you might hit a point where you couldn't grow food or have it for years. And so they would put it away. It was kind of standard in the community where I grew up that people would try to save 7 years worth of food. That would really help you if you had a volcanic winter or a nuclear winter. His grandpa, my great granddad, Goodman Hugh Allison, used to save watermelon seeds, and he wouldn't plant them until they were 7 years old. He'd keep in a little paper bag hanging up off of a little rafter on the porch. Yeah, that's a garden. Now, that's a garden. That's a knife. That's a garden. Seriously, he loved gardening. He loved it, and he'd grow bushes, and he loved to grow blueberries and things like that. Grapes, scuppernines. He loved grapes and scuppernines, and he would flat grow them. One year though, he made a mistake. He was going to spray something on his scuppernines or his grapes, and he messed up and sprayed Roundup. Stay away from the chemicals, guys. Stay away from the chemicals. You don't need it. Squirrels, deer, and hogs will love those trees too. Meat fresh on the hoof. There you go. I saw a video of a man who hatched a quail from a supermarket egg. I saw that. Yeah, I then found a woman who hatched a chicken. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you can hold the eggs up to a light, but if you got a really good red spot in there, chances are you might grow something. My dogs won't eat carrots anymore. Yeah, I've always seen some dogs that eat carrots, but dogs need meat. Our greenhouse probably covers a good 3.5 acres. Wow, that's amazing, Wheeler. That's amazing. What did Rodney say? A tin of red salmon from Alaska, a 410-gram cost $8.99, and oh wow, that's pretty high. That's probably double what it costs around here. When I lived in Alaska, I loved smoked salmon. That was delicious. And you get pink salmon, red salmon, and it was even in the lakes. It wasn't all stuff that swam up and down the rivers. There were some in the lakes, and these were lakes that they didn't stock. Lakes here in North Florida get restocked all the time, and don't restock them up there, but they got a lot of fish in them. It's illegal. When I was in Alaska, it was illegal to fish with live bait. You didn't need it. When I first went up that weekend, I got stranded out 20 miles out in the desert, out in the wilderness by myself. It wasn't a desert. I had to hike back. Some of the scouts said they was going to go fishing. They had just a little bit of line and some hooks. I kind of snickered, saying they think they're going to catch some fish. Well, about 20 minutes later, they came back and the stringers were full of fish. And I'm like, wow. So, pretty amazing. I've seen people, that was in the month of May, I've seen people standing on, I believe it's a Quartz Lake or Twin Lakes. up there in the Delta Junction area, standing on the lake with a hole in the ice fishing in May. I bet they don't do that now. It hasn't been that cold last few years up in Alaska. Can the smoked salad and tuna. Oh my gosh, it smoked salad, especially fresh up there. Oh my gosh, that was to die for. That was so good. I mean, wow. And halibut. I first had halibut up there in Alaska, and that's a mild tender fish, and it is good too. Now you eat that with butter. That was amazing. So yeah, one thing you get in Alaska is you get some great seafood up there. Need to find something to grow it in here where I'm not directly competing with all the other greenhouses or already got the common variety market locked down. Well, the real key to agriculture, if you're not a ginormous farmer, is to find a niche. Find something everybody else ain't growing. So I was doing microgreens. I didn't really have time to market it sufficiently. I wanted to sell it to the restaurants, but you really need to get that shelf, and you need to have two meetings, an introductory meeting and then a meeting to close the deal. And those guys are just so hard to catch. On my day job, I just couldn't manage to do both. I couldn't schedule because those guys are real fickle to get to. And when you got to work a schedule, that was next to impossible. Sold a lot of it at farmers markets. But I really needed a restaurant deal. I just never could quite find the time to put that together. I tried to get a few other people to do it. I never really went for it. Couldn't get anybody to do that for me. I was going to give them big share, big profit, or even try to get a couple of people to share crop for me, and that just didn't pan out. So, but microgreens can be very profitable. In fact, if you're locally, I got a trailer out here, set up grow microgreens. I'll sell the whole thing, whole turnkey business. You can it's ready to go. You can make a lot of money with it. Ready to go. Ready to go. I might drag it with me to Arizona, but I'm living off grid there. I don't have enough. Solar is not going to give me enough power to run that trailer unless I towed it into find me a place to rent somewhere close to Snowflake or someplace that had some power. The natives in the house love matuck whale meat, and I've never had that. I've had moose and spaghetti meatballs. I never ate whale. I don't even know if you're not a native, if you can eat it. Oh, well, my friend Ed Cocker, he went all up in those areas. I'm sure he's ate whale. They like whale blubber. Lost cream cheese. Oh, I love cream cheese. Red onions. Yeah, why do they call purple onions red? I always call them red onions. They're purple. They're not red. Why do they call these red? Purple onions, but they always call them red onions. I don't know why. You tell me. Edith, how you doing? It's very fatty. Oh, I bet it is. I bet it is. That's one thing. When you're up in those cold regions, you can eat pure fat, and you're not going to get fat. It's not going to clog your arteries, and you'll work it off. That temperature, the cold temperatures will burn the calories, will burn them out of you. And they feed big portions in Alaska. You eat big portions. I wonder myself, clearly purple. Maybe we're just colorblind. Wiggler. Maybe we're just colorblind. Oh, what did I say? I sensed you was going to say that. Oh. Yeah, but it's well, that makes some good eating. You got those probably rich in omega-3 fats. Makes good candles. I bet it would. Eat muck, tuck, and salmon, and you'll stay happy and healthy when it's dark 6 months of the year. You need something to cheer you up. Alaska's got very high rates of alcoholism. The further north you get, where you get more and more dark, the higher, I guess, the rates of alcoholism get. You'll go in a restaurant up there, and you might have Bloody Marys and for breakfast. Yeah, I have had Bloody Marys with corned beef hash and poached eggs with Heinz 57 sauce for breakfast. Only in Alaska. Yeah, Trophy Lodge. Oh, I bet they don't serve that anymore. Trophy Lodge up there in Delta Junction used to have a really wide variety menu. There's still a Trophy Lodge, although the log cabin used to be burnt down. But I checked. I actually called them about a year or two ago. Their menu is not near as wide as it used to be. You want a donkey, they'll protect your animal. I need to get some donkeys because we got a lot of coyotes on my place. A lot of coyotes on my place and out near Snowflake. So I need to get some coyote. You'd eat that? Oh, I've seen people drink hard whiskey for breakfast. It's like, whoa, it might be all right for a once or twice off. I can't live that way though. Couldn't do it at all now. Alcohol is not something I can handle. It's not the drunkenness. It makes my heart go to the racetracks like the next day. So I have to stay away from it. You had enough in my younger day. I've had my share. I just don't need any of that now. Yeah, you go over to like Richardson Roadhouse or somewhere up there in Alaska and order a small 1 scoop of ice cream. They're gonna give you a scoop about that big. It's like, oh. But ice creams are popular up there. In fact, I think I've asked this before, so some of you may already know this. Edith lived on Salmon River in New York. Freezer was full of smoked salmon. Yeah, there you go. Pike. I thank God I don't drink alcohol. There you go, Alaska. So good for you. Yeah, I can't handle it anymore. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. It would put me 6 foot under. I'm serious. If I just have a little shot of a hard liquor, it kicks me. It don't bother me the day of. It's the next day, and it's not a hangover. It's my heart. Just the tachycardia. My heart rate goes boom, 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 boom. Scares the devil out of me. I don't like it at all. I've gone to the hospital for that, and I was like, no, I don't need this. I quit. I'm done with this. No more. When I was in the Navy, drinking was a duty. I was ocean salt water to get the ship afloat. I've cut way back now, I bet. I'm not going to judge anybody for it as long as they ain't driving and doing crazy stuff. But yeah, it does it hits you in the health department real hard. Real hard. It takes a toll on you, especially over time. Liver and all your organs. It's rough. Had to chuckle. My uncle gave a miniature donkey a home, figured it might help keep the bulls from fighting, which it did, but little Pedro became a tyrant, won't let anybody near the big bulls eat. He won't let, oh, Lord. That's my kind of scoop bread. Oh, yeah. I remember I went to order me I said, I just want a small omelet, and they brought out a big 4-egg omelet, that's about that thick, about that long. It must have been more than 4 eggs. That thing was huge. It's like, it was good though. Yeah, you get big portions up there. I'm just a beer girl, nothing exciting. I can't even drink more than a couple of beer. I mean, if I even got a buzz, I know I was going to be in big, big, big trouble. No, I can't go there. I just can't do it. I bought a 6-pack of beer Christmas last year. I didn't buy any this year. I thought I might have a couple of Guinnesses, but some of the stuff, I like the darker stuff. And I think there's still a beer in my refrigerator or 2 from Christmas before last. And the only reason is that not more is the rest of them fell out of the door when I'd opened it and bust up. I think I might have had 2 of them. Just, I can't do it. Just, I got no interest in it anymore. A couple of glasses of homemade wine with dinner. Okay. I can have just a itty bitty bit, just a little bit, maybe a little flavor from it. That's about it. Yeah, donkeys are rough on coyotes. They don't like any kind of canine. They don't like canines. They will wipe out a coyote. That's why I think I get some. Oh, you'll like a Guinness, mate. Yeah, well, I made the Guinness Book of World Records, So the 2000 limited edition, my Shiner box. Yeah, the box. You know what Bach means auf Deutsch? What is Bach auf Deutsch? Was ist Bach auf Deutsch? And we'll answer that one. What is Bach? Was ist Bach auf Deutsch? What is Bach in German? Somebody get it. Booze upsets my digestion real bad, like regular. A lot of Bachs. A lot of the beers over there are Bachs. A double Bach. No, it's not Buck. It's could be close. Please let the people know you are on Discord. Oh yeah, we got Discord channel. Bach is goat. In German, Bach is goat. That's why if you see a double Bach beer, it's got two goats on it. It means goat. I don't know where they got in their mind to make beer and call it goat beer or something. I got no idea where that came from. But prohibition is like booze is killing society. Yeah, but if you ban it, the people will just drink more of it because they can't have it. Means yeah, bell goat. There you go, Rodney. It's definitely goat. That's why I said he might be too far off when he said buck. Exactly. Maybe they figured it like butt you, like give you a kick like a goat might when it bucks you. Butts you. I like mixed drinks, but not much anymore. Haven't had any since 2013. Love pork. Bacon makes everything better. Amen to that. Yeah, I love pork. I'd be a terrible Jew or a terrible Muslim because I love pork. All right, so now we have a Discord channel. I've went in and signed in night before last. I still got to learn my way around it. We'll be doing some stuff on there. I believe we can do live broadcasts from there and maybe some other things. It might be good in case I get wiped out over here. Apparently, we can upload videos to it. I don't know the ins and outs of it yet. Managed to get in there and add my picture to it. That's about all I know about it yet. But they don't have a gender word for deer or antelope. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they usually have modifiers for gender. All I know is Bach is goat. That's all I know about it. In English, we decided the buck was the male and used the new word doe to describe the female. Okay. Yeah, Germans, everything is den and dane, and they genderize everything. French do the same thing. That's common in German auf Deutsch throughout Europe. That everything's got a gender, even the glasses. And they got disdain. I don't know all the terms they got for genderizing everything. It's like even a cup would have a gender. It's like, really? Every object's got a gender, and some of it doesn't even make sense to you. It's like, how do you determine it's this or that? How do you get that? I guess it's a cultural thing. But anyway, beer robs you of personal motivation. It can do that, Brian. It could do that. Although I had a lot of motivation back in the years when I used to do more than my share of it. Cro-Magnon, greatest of all time, doesn't really work with Bach. We used to get the clean out from velvet ice cream and feed it to the pigs. There you go. I bet. I can definitely see that. Pigs got drunk on the ice cream. Well, fermented. Oh yeah, pigs don't mind getting drunk. Greg, I sent you pictures of the slippers. I need to know what design. Oh yeah, you were gonna make some real slippers. That's right. Some mucklucks. Oh yeah. I'll have to log in. I gotta move some stuff to do that. There's a Discord logo. I think I'm automatically logged in when I, yeah, once I don't log out. Oh, our video's up there. Okay, well, I guess we're live in Discord now. So far, we're set up for the uh, we're set up for mods in there right now, but we're going to create various channels. Mammy says, "Oh, cool. Let me check it out. Who's that wizard? It looks cool. That's funny." Yes, ye shall not pass. There we go. Very good. Let's see. I don't know where to find them. Oh, there they are. Wow. That's fancy. You got a fur ruff on them. What kind of fur is that, Alaska? Shaggy, what kind of fur is that? No, I don't need no flowers. Don't put flowers on mine. I need a design you want instead of flowers. Yeah, I don't know flowers. Loudy. Loudy, loudy, loudy. Doctors make a fortune from the booze biz. I bet they do. Many years of German, what a great language. Don't have a word. Just jam all the words together. Yeah, they do that. Bam, new word. They don't even put them in the dictionary. No need. Yeah, they got a habit of that. Jam all the words together. Police love the booze biz because it gives them tons of work. I bet. It's like, it used to be firemen would set places on fire to give a justification to keep their department. Ah, no flowers. Don't need a flower on my footwear. Don't want it looking feminine. I don't need to be feminized. Our language had been so polluted, twisted, people don't understand the language. Words are powerful. Yeah. Spanish is quick. Good for working. Oh, my granddad was a soldier in the British Army in WWII. Well, my dad was in WWII. Station German. My dad was in Germany. Who knows? They might have met. He met my grand German after the war. Okay, they were married and she moved here. Her family disowned her. Oh, yeah, war is stupid. Yep. Hmm. Can't advance. No, I can't advance. Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, there is that. Well, they all look pretty much the same except for the flowers. Hmm. Yeah, no flowers. What would be another good symbol? I could put almost any design you want instead of flowers. Well, I have to think about it. It needs to be something rustic, something a little bit on the rustic side. Maybe a Viking X or ravens. That might be a good one. Two ravens. I could name one Huggin and one Munin. Name one Huggin and one Munin. Each shoe could have a different name. Oh, that might be an idea. Two ravens. I got ravens on my place in Arizona. Here we got crows, but in Arizona there's ravens. Rocket wouldn't be bad. Ravens would be good. I don't know if a muckluck ought to be spacey. Picture of me? No. You got me standing above them. Why do I need a picture of me on? I can do ravens. That sounds good. My granddad didn't get his medals because he was a runner when he was told he was going to Palestine next to secure Israel. Wow. My dad got 3 Bronze Stars in World War II, and he never even told us. I didn't know till I went to his funeral. My dad got 3 Bronze Stars in World War II. You had to do something to earn those things. Anyway, I got videos of my dad on my channel. Scroll, go look at my bottom playlist. They're still there. I'm gonna move them at some point. Anybody got a better idea than a raven? Gotta put me next scroll light on, try to raise too much. All right, there's the Discord link. What we're going to do is we'll set up different channels on Discord for public. We'll have a Swivel Head News. We'll do a oh, we got Jason in there. I see the Texas law, the natural law perspective. Okay, I'll have to check that out. See some huskies, some shepherds. Oh, a lot of voice stuff. Okay. Colorado Jam got some of our puppy dogs in here. All right, cool. Now I'm looking at Discord room, guys. Wow. All righty. Well, that's cool. People are signed up to this. Member list. Oh, hide it. Where's it at? I mean, we got it there. I could actually share the screen and show what he's showing me. These pictures, I don't want to show everything. Those pictures are probably okay. I'll do that. I'm going to show a screen with Shaggy's handiwork. Alaska Soul. Hang on, guys. Anybody opposed to me showing the screen? Yeah, smart. Yeah, mixed white mutt, said Tracy Broken Wing. Well, on my mother's side, I come to find out all my ancestry was Scandinavian, basically Vikings. They're descendants of Vikings, or Nordic people, let me put it that way. I really like the wolf. Wolves are cool. There are Mexican gray wolves in the area where I'm at. We got tons of coyotes. I think the raven is more fitting for this old wizard. Let's see. Where's my share screen thing at? Ding, 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 ding. Hit share screen button. And we're going to go over here and find all right, there it is. There it is, guys. I don't know if y'all, I don't know if I want to hit the enlarge, if it still shows or not. This is happening. Aren't those awesome? What kind of fur is that? That was the Conrads, my mom's side of the family. Abundant clear that we're fighting. Yeah, not the German people. Yeah, that's true. Now you get it, Rodney. Discord pops up when you don't want it to. Uh-oh. It's like Norton antivirus. Yeah, I hate Norton antivirus. It drives me nuts. Anyway, there they are, guys. Aren't those pretty? Maybe I missed it. Maybe you told me I just missed it. What kind of fur is that? Those are pretty. Party. All right, I'm stop the share here. Boing. I'll catch everybody's chat. I have a white wolf. I inherited from my father when he was passed. He was Navy SEAL. She's a pudding. She doesn't know she's a wolf. Okay. An old truck. I used to have my first truck was a Beaver. Okay, very good. My first truck was a 50 model Chevrolet. My second truck was a 54 Ford. My third truck was a 58 Ford. My fourth truck was a 72 Ford. I now got two Chevrolets, a 76 and a 79. 76 1-ton and a 79 2-ton truck. North. Oh, what's beeping me? It's probably there on, what is that? Scroll the bottom. A lot of chat in there. Ah, okay. Oh, I see it. I see it. Wow. Oh, that's lovely. Wow, nice handiwork. And let's stop the share. Beautiful. He's quite the artist. All right, folks. Greg, I sent a high quality slipper of silt and beaver. All right, cool. Nice. So is the inside sill? Because that's what the Eskimos did. They'd make the inner part of their mukluk sill skin as a water barrier. I might have to wear those walking around, because you walk in the forest with a soft sole shoe, you can feel the twigs underneath, so you know not to step on it. You can move your foot. You can put your heel down and rotate it, and then just put it down slowly, feel your way as you go, and walk kind of quietly. I need to do some bushcraft videos one day. I think that's what I need to be. Yeah, those look really warm. They have to be. You know, if they've made them, in Alaska, the natives up there, the outside, oh, it's still okay. The outside seal. The seal's intended to seal the water, right? In fact, I think the natives actually used a seal intestine, didn't they, as one of the liners in their footwear. Now, I also know that they used to tan them with their urine. I heard on a hot day, if you were in a barracks where some of the Alaska native patrols were, or guard patrol units, that on a hot day it would stink. That's what Eddie Cocker told me. He had he was in the army, and he became a captain in the army, and then he took over an Alaska guard unit, and it was scouts, and it was all the Eskimos. It was the Eskimo scout unit he was in charge of. And that's what he told me. He said in the summertime, those mutlucks would smell because they would tan them with urine. Yes, they did. Never die free. I've been driving my 1950s Willis truck for 40 years now. Well, that is awesome. That's got to be an awesome truck. But that's good. Did you ever see the Mountain Men show? I don't know if it still comes on. I guess it still does. On one was the History Channel or Discovery, one of them channels that used to come on. There used to be a guy who would hunt mountain lions. He had an old one. Show the screen. Oh, well, let me go back. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see. Bing, 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 bing. Here we are. I don't know if I should be showing everybody's chat in here, but I guess it's no different than the chat you guys are in. Here we are. They are sealskin and beaver. Now look at this set right here. I don't know when I hit the click on. I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know if that blows up on here. I'm not sure you see that. Those are real pretty. Let me see. I'm going to watch my screen over here to see if when I clicked on it, if it actually gets bigger. So I don't know when I click something like that, I don't know if it still shows in the screen share. Oh, it does. Very good. Cool. I didn't know if that would actually capture that in screen share if it was just the other screen. Check that out, guys. Isn't that something? That's some beautiful handiwork. That is awesome. Show the ones he was showing earlier. Looks like we're live in here now. Greg, you should set up your bug out spot room just like that so no one knows where you're. Oh, I'm not going to give my address there. Man, everybody knows the general area, but that general area is thousands of square miles. So me saying Snowflake is almost meaningless because I'm not in Snowflake. I'm several miles outside of Snowflake. All righty. So stop the sharing. Yeehaw. I don't know what that little pop-up critter was. I saw a gal walk by today wearing a pair for the top. So, oh yeah, that'd be good cold weather footwear. It'd be nice there, and they'll breathe too. So that'll be nice up in the desert. Make some good footwear for me to wear it there. I'm trying to set up my Discord. Okay. Oh, just yesterday. Wow. Our rubber soles keep us disconnected from the earth. Yeah, that's going to be all natural skin. So there's a, yeah, we'll be doing some more stuff. I don't know what all we can do on Discord, but I'll be finding out soon. So we'll start doing more stuff over on Discord. We may have to move all this content that this platform don't like to another platform. I was, considering Rumble, but if we can do it on Discord, we might do it on Discord. A lot of stuff like this. I don't know that I'm going to do any more news videos on, at least live videos on Green Greg's, because every time I go live on Green Greg's, it's automatically, demonetized. Sometimes I get by with it on Soilhead News, but they're hitting them over here too. But at least I'm not putting as much risk on Green Greg's, because I got gardening videos and videos on wild edibles and stuff over there. So I may have to really swap up my format. Maybe follow Steve Popper. He don't get much trouble. Well, Nate with Canadian Prepper, he talks war and all kind of stuff and gets away with it. But he stays neutral on the political story. He don't take any lean one way or the other. So he don't cover the politics. But with everything going on, it's really part of it here in this country. It's hard to not talk about the border and talk about 446. Yeah, you got to cook some breakfast. Bacon's calling. Yeah, we need to go. I need to get a nap. I got lots of things to do. Rumble's good. Yeah, I can't earn anything on Rumble though. It's just like there's no income potential there. Right now, this is how I'm making them. Right now, it's my only income, guys. Is about the only thing I'm getting is when you guys throw a super chat in here. That's all. For all the hours I put on these things, that's about the only thing I'm getting out of it. So maybe we can do something Discord. But you can have thousands of hours of view time on Rumble and only get a few pennies out of it. So really spiritual number. Amen. That's probably why the natural law material gets through. It's apolitical. Yeah. Well, as long as we can keep it apolitical. Well, I'm still going to leave my freedom content on Green Greg's. There's some life lesson type stuff, and what I'm wanting to do with Jason, I want to do that on Green Greg's because it's kind of a life lesson perspective thing. And I've even been thinking about, I got a bunch of quotes and things. I'm thinking about a platform where I just look, well, this old wizard comes out with a few little short wise sayings and upload them. Just a few little quick wise sayings, totally apolitical, just good learning exercises, things that people ought to know. How about that for an idea? Like, I got some bunch of things I might come out and pronounce to everybody, like little wise things, like embrace each dawn with dreams anew, for the world is vast and so are you. Forge your fate with fiery resolve. Let no fear your path dissolve. How about if I do some videos just like that, and that's all I say? What do you think about that? In solitude secrets, no, excuse me. In solitude stillness, secrets are found. Wisdom whispers on sacred ground. Thought my place in Arizona, sacred ground. Seek the stars in your soul's sky. Let their light guide as years pass by. Or, I used to do videos where I was listening to frogs outside. I got somebody with a camper there and dogs right now. I got to get rid of those dogs. So it kind of messes me up. I can't do those videos. But how about this? As peeping frogs sing by the stream and life's chorus, follow your dream. In the forest hush where the frogs do call, seek inner peace, stand tall and enthrall. I'm a poet, guys. What do you think about that? I could come up with, I could do hundreds of those. Easy. And that would probably be a big hit because the platform was shorts. That would probably be a big hit, but I need some longer content to go with it. Maybe just walking through the woods. Do some shorts and then maybe do some just things walking through the woods or walking through the desert. I don't know if y'all can see that little, raise the camera. You see that right there? It's supposed to be Odin with two eyes. Supposedly that's me too. And Hugging and Immunin are, I don't know if you can see it. Hugging and Immunin are right there and there. Make today great freedom friends. There you go. Make today great freedom friends. That makes good sense. Greg, do a video about the. I gotta wait till it. Tracy Brooklyn sent me something on getting rid of these hearts. I gotta go back. Like I pinned that message so I wouldn't lose it, but I just hadn't gone through yet. Somebody say boo, so I can read the rest of what She'll Maiden is saying. It's been hidden by that heart. Somebody say boo. Say something in chat, just anything on her message. Scroll over and read it all. Oh, shoot, I'll type something in. There we go. Greg, do a video about the concept of the fourth turning, because that's where we're. Yeah, and that's pretty apolitical. And that really fits. Greg is the new William Yates. I don't know who William Yates is. Boo boo. Governments need to invest more grow factories. They can create lots of jobs. Okay. Brian. I mean, look, I've read poetry to you guys. I've done a lot of poetry. Lots of poetry. I may start a channel, man. What about Woden's wise words? Y'all remember the couple that used to come on here a lot? They wanted me to do that. They wanted me to create a channel where I just read poetry. They're the ones that gave me this. Gorgeous, awesome. They have a room on Etsy where they sell crystals. They did all this copper work. They made a lot of beautiful things. Oh, Ireland's greatest poet. Cool. What a lot of people don't know is Odin was the god of agriculture, and Odin was the god of poetry, and he was a mortal god seeking wisdom. Of course, once you get enough wisdom, you're not going to be for conflict. That's part of gaining wisdom is, we don't need conflict. We don't need all this warfare. Most people think of Odin as the war god, but a really mature Odin would probably not be so fond of war. Grow factories, you wear white uniforms. Gardening ain't so dirty. Yeah. Well, a lot of people growing the mushrooms wear a white uniform too, because you got almost a lab coat, because you got to stay really clean in a mushroom operation. Always bury your weapons with you, for no one knows when. And something. Let me type boo in here. There we go. When one may need a foeman about. Okay, yeah. Well, that's kind of what Thomas Jefferson said. Let every free man have his nug by his side at all times. And some people said, well, our founding fathers didn't mean that with the Second Amendment. Well, go read what they wrote. Yeah, they did. Absolutely meant it. You got to remember, they were against a standing army. They thought everybody would just have one in their home, and everybody was going to be part of the Minutemen, the militia. Who was meant to be the militia? Everybody. Every able-bodied man at the time was figured to be part of that. Speak soft, but carry a big stick. Yeah. Amen. It's like if you think back, maybe in high school where kids are usually so mean and rough and so cruel. The big guy was always the one that was more jovial and gentle. He knew he could whip everybody, but he didn't have to, so he could afford to be more jovial and not so confrontational. Nobody was going to mess with him. That's the way it ought to be. We ought to be all of good spirit and be able to enjoy life, but you got to be strong so somebody won't pick on you. Yeah. Amen. If you want peace, you prepare for war. Odin would agree. Odin would approve of that. Be ready. Be tough. Or as the guy on Black Scout Survival, what's his name? He always says, be dangerous. He isn't advocating go out and do anything stupid. Be prepared to defend yourself and your loved ones. That's all. To be able to do that properly, be dangerous. You walk across a parking lot, if you go, with every step, the bad guy's going to look at you and he's going to think of you a target. If you're walking strong, even if it hurts, don't let them know you're hurting. Don't let them know you're in pain. Like an old guy, I got arthritis in my knees and ankles. When I go across that parking lot, they think I'm ready to whoop anybody in my vicinity. Don't show the pain. He's a plant. You think he's a plant? The guy that does the Black Scout channel? Jack. You think he's a plant? You're not buying him. Why do you say that? What makes you say that? You got that notion. Maybe you've seen something I didn't see. It's always a possibility, but I hope not. Someone said of this new tech age that us humans got to get used to just living at home and enjoy life and be more artistic and creative and poetic. Well, that's the whole idea that technology would take all our jobs away. We're not there yet, but it could happen. Because I'm a real veteran. Well, I'm a real veteran too. Well, he was supposedly a Marine, right? I was not a Marine. If you get in a fight, make sure you win it. Amen. Now, he never served in the military either. John Wayne never served in the military. But the military people liked him just because of the way he maintained himself and the stuff he said, the way he presented himself. John Wayne did not like Clint Eastwood because Clint Eastwood, he thought, made the whole Western genre gritty and brought in kind of in his opinion, a dark spirit to it. But I didn't like Eastwood. Especially liked his when he actually got to where he was writing his own westerns and directing his own ones. I think Outlaw and Josie Wells is one of the finest westerns ever made because he actually took a lot of care to make it historically accurate. A lot of care. He went in a lot of detail. And because I had studied that era of the war between Kansas and Missouri, between the Redlegs and the Missourians, and a lot of the cultural aspects about it. And one of the best books on that is called The Gray Ghost of the Confederacy. And I studied that when I was in high school. In fact, I saw The Outlaw and Josie Wells. I'd already read that book. I told you guys, when I was in high school, I was a member of the military book club. I got books on strategy, the Patton Papers, Total War. That was my reading when I was a kid. Dying ain't much living, boy. Spit. Amen. Dying ain't much of living. You got that right. Many holding on to old ways that we need jobs. Robots can do. What are some things robots can't do? Robots can't come in and fix a burnt circuit in your house. Ain't no robot on earth that can do that. A lot of the tradesman jobs, a robot is a long way from doing. Long, long, long way. Factory jobs, yeah. When you can automate office skills, yeah. But there's some things where you got to do some real thinking. AI can assist you a lot, but it still can't do the real thinking. So you've got to be able to take it. I've used it as a tool recently for hazard analysis, and I found it very powerful. But it can't do the actual hazard analysis. It gives you a lot of content, but you got to research it. And it isn't, and you got to really map the controls and verifications and all that properly. It'll leave some things out and it'll make some mistakes. If you're not smart enough to spot the mistakes, you got a problem. So you got to be smarter than the AI. But the AI is a powerful tool. There's no doubt about that. It's a jobs world, robots in it. Well, what you got to do is learn to take advantage of that technology and use it. Like if you see some of my thumbnails, I've used AI art to generate a lot of my thumbnails. So I've gotten where I can do that. So I used to draw some. My son's a tattoo artist. So he makes a living from his art. Both my daughters were in the arts. On my mother's side, the arts go back strong in that family. From hand drawing artists to my great uncle, my great uncle named Opie, who had a brass band. And they were in, if anybody knows Alabama, they were in Georgia. So if you want to meet your maker fast, take off a hillbilly from the Ozarks or just about anywhere. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got some hillbillies around here too. So AI can't help people like kind hands can. That's true. Well, it's got no emotion. It's got no empathy. That's the danger in it. There's no empathy in AI. There's no empathy in robotics. Now they program it to not cover things or do certain things, but it's programmed that way. There's no true empathy. And that's one of the great virtues of humanity is we have the capacity for empathy, to feel for our fellow man, fellow woman. Robotics don't have that. And there are some people that don't have that also. They tend to be your sociopaths and your psychopaths. And those people are very good with the communication arts. Typically, they talk very well, very smooth, and they tend to go up in organizations. They climb the ladder in corporations and in the government. That's how the world is and the shape it's in today. Now, they ain't gonna do your plumbing either. Not doing your wiring, not doing your plumbing. They're not good at any of the trades. Carpentry. And they could do they'll do repetitive tasks. Now, you might get them to clean your house. They might be conversationalists. There are people one day who will be having robot girlfriends and boyfriends, but they can't really love you back. They might make you think that, but they can't. They're not capable because they don't have feelings. They don't have a real heart. They can mimic it, but there's nothing there. So a lot of people will fall for that, though. They will fall in love and marry a robot one day. You're going to see that one day. People be marrying robots. Yikes. Okay, military and police organizations, they like to apply metal to meat. Well, there's this whole transhumanist thing where they'll be marrying robotics into people. Oh, yeah, the Japanese are putting flesh on robots, kind of like the Borg. Yeah, they're putting flesh on robots now. They had a particular application for it too. What was that I saw just recently? And of course, some people are using actual neurons and neural nets, and they actually removed a pig's brain from a pig, and it survived like 7 hours outside of the pig. God knows what to come up with. And of course, they got those organoids now, where they actually will grow brain cells, now forming little miniature brains, and actually automatically grow eyes on them. It's real spooky. But could you imagine being a brain without a disembodied brain? That would be kind of torturous, I would think. Of course, if they never had the other inputs, they wouldn't know. But geez, the military test, the AI killed its human commander because it wouldn't go through with an order to destroy. AI will push the button. The greater good. Yeah, it might. For the greater good. There was a movie on that back in the 70s. It had like the President of the United States and the President of Russia. They agreed to let the computers be in charge, and it was AI. They didn't have the word AI back then. And in the movie, it looked like these two robots were getting together and it was going to establish world peace, and they launched all the missiles, destroyed the world. The president was some young guy. It looked a lot like Ted Kennedy. I think they picked a guy that looked like Ted Kennedy because they thought Ted Kennedy would be president of the United States one day. Why? Because that was already after Chappaquiddick. I think Chappaquiddick probably did him in. I met Ted Kennedy. He had a lot of back pain. He actually gave him a cap. I met him. I gave him a cap that said something about mineral resources for the future or something like that, because I was trying to convince him to support space. I met him at Space and Rocket Center. I mean, I talked to him face to face. I almost met Obama. I had an appointment to meet him, but I had another girl on my team that's from Chicago. She wanted to go in by herself. I said, this man's going to be president one day. I want to see him. No, I really want to see him by myself. He's my congressman. He's my senator. I set up the appointment. I want to see him. Well, okay. That would have been scary. Now, one of the Bible tells us to fast and pray. There you go. You know what? They're using robots and AI to do sermons. Just don't know about that, guys. And people are going to churches that do that. And there's even, I saw an article that postulated that one day in the future, people will worship robots and AI. How? Why? Ain't never going to be enough resources for everyone to have a flying car. Well, they'll probably make them a lot like a regular automobile. Hey, Chinook Preparedness, how you doing? Chinook Preparedness, where you at? Are you in Alaska? Chinook is a warm breeze up in Alaska, but it's also a helicopter with two rotors on it. All right, so yeah, it's some craziness. I couldn't go there. Yeah, but what I tell you my motto is help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Then we got the brain-computer interface. We got a guy with a neural link planted in him. Well, that's the hive. The Borg is the hive. Already happening, Greg. Dudes wanting to marry sex bots. Oh, Lord. Yeah, what would we want to do that for? Oh, Lord. Larry Smith was there talking about his girlfriend was blow up. He was teasing, but yikes. We got the most brilliant storyline about robots in space. Do you, John? Oh, you're in Alberta. Okay. Alberta. Well, we got Jason Smith. No, not Jason Smith. Yeah. Arnold Smith is from Alberta. And he's usually in here. He's not here tonight. Disembodied spirits. That is something to worry about. You know, in Revelations, the Antichrist creates a talking statue. And a talking statue commands everyone to worship the Antichrist. What is that, a robot? What's a talking statue, guys? Now, in some esoteric versions of the faith that's kind of spun off from Judaism, a lot of people are believing that they can create with clay an entity that will become alive. There's a word for that. I can't remember the word for it, but it's part of this whole spirit cooking stuff. Now, if y'all don't know, John Podesta, who was campaign manager for Hillary, he was also, I think, her chief of staff when she was Secretary of State. And he ran that Exercise 201. He is now becoming the replacement for John Kerry as Biden's environment czar. That guy just gives me the heebie-jeebies. And his brother is probably Gollum. Yeah, there you go, Chinook. That's what I was trying to say. I was thinking Goyim, but I said, no, we're Goyim. So I knew it was close. I said the Goyim word stuck in my brain. I go, well, no, that's not it, because we're considered Goyim. Gollum. That's it exactly. Gollum. Yes. An automaton made of clay and mud. Yeah, they think that they can take clay and mud, So they're trying to emulate God making man. They think they can take clay and mud and bring it to life and be a living, speaking whatever. I don't quite see that, but mud men under discipline, another way of saying soldier. But with robotics, and it's not mud, but it's close to it. Now, here's another thing. Here's another perspective. You are what you eat, right? Even if you eat animals, animals eat plants. So somewhere in the cycle of your foraging, everything with you comes through a plant. Everything in your body. What do plants come from? The earth and water. So everything inside of you came from dirt and water. So you're dirt and water. It means everybody's mud. We're all mud. I got to admit, some mud looks better than other mud. But we're all made of mud. Really, we are mud. All of us. John Kerry is moving to help Biden on his campaign. Yeah, that's the whole idea. You're right. But John Podesta, whoo, that guy gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, he's into that spirit cooking, which is, I don't know, Gollum. Yeah, they use some nasty stuff to try to animate those Gollum too. I don't even want to say it on here. I'm not going to say it. I can't get banned for even repeating what those guys do. Put a humanoid robots on Mars, and it's got to be a major goal of NASA. Humanoid robots with nuclear batteries can run and climb. Well, the nuclear batteries that, there's multiple kinds of human nuclear batteries. There's the RTGs, which is radiothermal isotope generators that they put radioactive source in it, like Voyager and our deep space probes use. Now, those things can run for decades, but they are very radioactive. We got a couple rovers on Mars that do have that. The Chinese have taken this idea. I don't know if they originated, but the idea that you put a little radioactive source in a diamond crystal, and it will create a voltage for a long time. But it takes a whole lot of them making the power to run a robot. Now, they might get there if they put enough radioactive material in it. They can make a robot with a battery. It might last decades, maybe even forever. Sounds like manure to me. That's it, Robin. That's it. Can AI track a digital watch? Well, probably. Yeah, and the Internet of Things, if your watch is part of the Internet of Things, yes. It all depends. Now, there are digital watches that aren't part of the Internet of Things, so not those. But if you got one of those real smart watches like the Apple or whatever, and if it's all connected and interconnected, theoretically, yes. You hadn't thought about that. Yeah, we're all mud. So don't get too pretentious. If you get too pretentious, if you think you're so great and wonderful, just remember then, you're mud. We're all mud. Like I said, some mud's pretty fine looking. Oh, that's some nice mud over there. We're all mud. So don't get your egos out of joint. That's a humbling thing to consider. No matter who they are on this planet, every human being is mud. All creatures that walk and talk or walk and whatever are mud. Surely a robot dog is better than a rover for exploring Mars. They're selling them now. You can buy those robot dogs. I've seen the ads for them. You can buy them now. They're only, I don't know, they're not crazy expensive. They're pricey, but they're not, for what they are. It's pretty. We're worms. Well, we do have legs and mouths and brains. Worms got a brain. Worms got a lot of heart, actually. And earthworms actually got 5 hearts. See my 5 key things for raising earthworms. The most popular video on Green Grays. My 5 keys for raising worms. See that video. It's got over 500,000 views on it. Watch it if you never watched it. A worm's got a lot of heart. 5 hearts. I'm not mud. Speak for yourself. We're all mud. John Podesta was the biological father of Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park. Really? He was hung a year after. Whoa. That's some weird stuff, guys. Some really weird stuff. Yeah, be careful. I gotta be careful what I say on here. The mud that speaks. But this mud was animated by a higher power at some point in the past, whatever it was. We all need a little humility, guys. No robot dogs here. I keep my dachshunds. There you go. That's what I need to go for moles. I'll have, oh, it'll have to be humanoid robots that build space stations. Well, not necessarily, John Baxter. The space shuttle, excuse me, the International Space Station has something called the SSRMS. It's the Space Station Remote Manipulator System. It's a big, long, almost 60-foot long boom that has latching end effectors, power data grapple fixture latching end effectors on each side of it. And as long as it's attached to power data grapple fixture, it can transmit data and power. It's a remotely operated device. It's not autonomous, but you got a control station where you run this thing, and it can pick up off one and then set down on another. It can inchworm across the power data grapple fixtures on the outside of the space station. Now, a lot of satellites that go into the space station, some of the payloads, some of the modules that went had just regular end effectors. I mean, they had these fixers. We call them what do we call that? There were different. There were power data grapple fixtures, and there were just grapple fixtures. Power data grapple fixture had power and data. The regular grapple fixtures were purely mechanical, but that latching end effector could grab onto them and could move the modules around and actually could assemble the space station. Now, there was a robot, not an autonomous robot, but a robot called a Special Purpose Dexterous Manipulator. The Texans like to call it Spiderman, and the Canadians hated that. But the Canadians renamed it Dexter eventually. It has two end effectors on it that are called ORU tool change-out mechanism. And they have a little bolt. It's got little pinchers, and right in the center, it's got a bolt drive assembly that could actually put the orbital replacement units down on the truss and remove them. And it had special guides to do all this with, and there's like special visual targets and all these things associated. I know all about this because I helped develop the robotic systems integration standards for the International Space Station back in the Space Station Freedom days. And yeah, I was there right when it transitioned to becoming the International Space Station. But I did work a lot of space station once upon a time in my life, and robotics was my thing. So I know all about those. I co-authored the change request that established a utility rail on the space station that the power and the video and all that stuff goes through, and it sourced out the services for those power data grapple fixtures. And I know what the wiring and cabling is like Node 2. I know how the NASA managers made a huge mistake taking out the backup drive capability when they thought they were taking back drive out, and they reduced the redundancy. And I tried to tell them, the knucklehead wouldn't listen to me. So, yeah, I know about those systems. Yeah, I spent a fair bit of time up at the, originally the company that did that was called SPAR, and they were located in Toronto. Then they moved out to Brampton, which is close to Toronto. It's right there in the general area. And I went up that facility quite a bit. It had these big flat floors for them to operate these on. In fact, the space station remote, the space shuttle remote manipulating system, which was always fixed at one spot in the payload bay, it had one grapple fixture that did the work. It was developed at the Toronto facility. Love my dogs. There you go. As long as your components are modular and exchange for faulty components can be seen. Yeah. Now in space, you got some challenges, just seeing things. You need guides. And so, before we had the robotic systems interface standards, there was a manned systems interface standards, because you had to be able to take out the gyroscopic, the action reaction stuff for using power tools. The astronauts' gloved hands are difficult to use. You had to take all that into account. You had to make things easy for them. So I'd always laugh when I'd see a Hollywood video of somebody opening up a satellite and he's in there tinkering with the chips on the outside of the satellite. That ain't happening. That ain't never happened. Ain't going to happen. Not with a gloved hand astronaut. But that's Hollywood for you. They put all kind of crazy stuff up there like that. Hollywood. I had a funny article. Did I not put it up? I was going to show you guys an article where somebody really messed something up. Guess I didn't show it. Where is that at? Oh, let me go to my article list here. See if I can find that. I had a funny article. Just somebody was just way off on something. You know, these people write articles. Sometimes they don't know jack diddle about what they're writing about. They'll write an article like there's some kind of authority, and they'll be so far off. Some of these guys, and they get paid to do this stuff, and it kind of blows my mind. Something about a black hole. Let's see here. It's amazing the stuff that gets published. A lot of garbage gets published. Journalists are journalists. They don't know science usually, unless they just happen to be also an engineer or a scientist. Solar panel technology, Elon Musk says. Oh yeah, Elon Musk says he's going to move his company to Texas if he can because he feels like Delaware screwed him over. Screwed him out of $55 billion. Supposed to be in his pay package from Tesla. Let's see. Let's see. Where's that at? Yeah, I'll just show you guys a fraction of the stuff I scan on a daily basis. I read tons of stuff to bring you guys the news. Where's that at? So I got hundreds of articles here that I've looked at today. Saw it today. I'm not seeing. I got such a long list here. I must have just scanned right by it. We got to go. It's 5:21. We got to go, folks. I'm here too late. Not mean to be in this long. I got a lot of stuff to do today. Yeah. How much did I find this? Wait a minute. I'm looking for this article. Oh, golly gee, I can't find it. Where's that? I know I got it open. I know it's in this list somewhere. Got so much stuff in it. Oh my gosh. I send myself so many articles. I send them all to my email. I collect them from different sources and I email them to one of my emails. Hundreds a day. I consume a lot of news to bring you guys this stuff. And I got stuff coming from, I got sources too, a lot of sources. Oh yeah, I got a teleconference today too with one of the power grid committees. It's Groundhog Day. Oh, where is it? Come on, I can't find it. I got so much stuff in here. I'm just scrolling past it. Okay, I ain't gonna hunt this forever. Wasting time. Guys, it takes me a lot of time just to pick and choose the articles and put them in order and put them up to show you guys. It takes a lot of time. A lot of YouTubers will just print out sheets from it or read the stuff off their screen. Some of them read the article directly as if it's their own material. Yeah. Where did it go? I should plan to open it, and I didn't. Should be in this area. Oh, yeah, here's one. Oh, yeah, one of the articles was U.S. plans a Goldilocks retaliation that will kill Iranians, but not in Iran. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. They're probably going to be there. They're withdrawing our people. Goldilocks retaliation. That's some weird terminology. That's one of the articles I did not show y'all. I thought that was interesting. Oh, yeah. Where is it at? Oh, I'll just tell you what's in it. Can't find it right now. Got too many things open. A list, a long list. I'm scrolling back and forth through it of articles. Have to make an adult cartoon to get the truth out. Label as fiction. Well, Chris Chappell, who does China Uncensored, now he's got America Uncensored. He does that. He's come up with a channel for talking games, but what he's really talking about is politics, mostly China. But he's talking about games, so he's using games as the cover, so he can get away with saying things he couldn't ordinarily say. Simpsons, like Utopia did about. So anyway, this article I was going to bring up was talking about how scientists were researching ways to get energy out of black holes. And they believe they can get hundreds of times more energy out of black holes than they could in a nuclear reactor. And the funny thing was, so the article started out, the first sentence talking about black holes in our solar system. Like, oh my gosh. There are no black holes in our solar system. I mean, he meant to say galaxy. But the guy was just a journalist. He didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Yeah, he was writing this article, and he was supposed to be authoritarian about it. And the first sentence, I just blew it off automatically. I was going to just bring it up just because to show you how ridiculous some of these journalists are. Black holes in our solar system. There are none. There are none. Fortunately for us, if there were, we'd have a great disturbance in the force. Great disturbance in the force. It would be catastrophic. So, you just never know what you're going to see in these stupid articles out there. And I've had journalists cover things I was doing, back, especially when I was building these rockets and launching my altitude balloons. We had journalists come out. We had people come out from magazines. Like there's one magazine called Shift Canada. These guys actually took them to see. We had they always botch the stories every time they get stuff wrong. So I'd be watching like a shuttle launch, and these commentators talk about something. No, you're not right. That's not it. That's not what it is. So many times you see them mess it up. They shouldn't mess with black holes. Yeah, they better not. Yeah, some people worried that we might create one with that Large Hadron Collider. Yeah, if we had it, we'd be in huge trouble. That's all I got to say about it. You don't want a black hole. That's one of the things that the physicists actually worry about is the creation of something called a strangelet. Strangelet is a theoretical particle that if you create it in the universe, it's just going to destroy everything it comes in contact with. And another thing they're afraid that, maybe they could cause something called the Big Rip that would just rip the whole universe apart. Fortunately, though, the energies in a lot of stellar objects are greater than the energies in the Great Hadron Collider, especially supernovas, things going on around magnetars, neutron stars. There's natural particle accelerators in the universe that are more powerful than anything we're making here on Earth. And so if that was going to happen, you would think it would happen there. I was talking about a book from Sir Martin Rees. He actually touched on it there, the book called The Final Hour. I've shown that book several times in the videos. He's the Astronomer Royal of Great Britain, the United Kingdom. Maybe you've heard of him, Shill Maiden, Sir Martin Rees. So look him up. He is one of the things he discussed in his book as potential risk. So the crazy thing is a lot of scientists will take risks that they shouldn't really, given what they think, should they even take that risk? Like a lot of people were afraid that the first atom bomb was going to set our atmosphere on fire. They thought the entire world could catch fire from the atmosphere. That'd be catastrophic. Well, they figured there was a risk, but they figured it was so low that it was worth proceeding. But a risk that's really low, that has really bad consequences, you really need to think twice about that. In the field of risk management and in the fields of system safety, we would rank consequences and probability, and we put them on a grid. And we can look at the consequences on one axis and the probability on another axis, and you could rate risk. It's a good way to do it. I don't think they did that back in the day, because even with a low probability, a high consequence could still be very problematic. We were all made the same atom, just put together in different ways. That's true. That's why we're all mud. That's it. Well, that whole mud analogy is a good way of humbling people, especially when they get out of joint with their egos. And that's easy to do. It's easy to get pride. too much pride. And that's the whole lesson about Satan in the Bible. He got too much pride. And that, pride, it goeth before destruction. All right, guys, it is almost 5:30 in the morning here. We've been on here for a long time. 2 hours. Did not mean to be on here this late. I got to hit the hay and catch a nap. I probably won't go live tomorrow night. We're powerful, being programmed to stay in line. Oh, that's part of the problem, ain't it? We've been programmed. Yep. Like a Hotel California, we're programmed. You can never. So we're programmed to receive. You can check out, but you can never leave. That's the way our world is. We're programmed to receive. You can check out, but never leave. Yeah, they want the union like that too. No. So, yeah, that's a really weird song too. That's a really weird song, but there's something to that. Pride means family alliance. Well, there's that. That's the real pride. How do you factor God in your calculations? Kind of hard to calculate the greater creator, Robin Bird. That's got a lot of infinities involved in it. Deprogram. There you go. I've done a talk on Leak Project, talking about the universe in a solo cup. And I've also done that on Jeffrey Daugherty's show, where he used to have the universe in a solo cup. I started a PowerPoint presentation. I'll bring it back to you guys one day, talking about the universe as a multiverse. I see the greater creator as being really great indeed, and outside of that. So, huge. New record, 5:30. Yeah, we're too late. It'll take me at least an hour to get in bed if I rush it. I have stuff to do before I go to bed. So, God is infinite infinities, but there's a model for the universe. Let's talk axes again. If in the universe you got an axis, and this axis is speed, and this axis is energy. The more speed you get, or mass, the more speed you get, the more energy you get. And you get close to this axis is the speed of light. As you start approaching the speed of light, you go up in infinite energy, infinite mass. And mass, they tell us, cannot cross the speed of light because of that. You can change the speed of light, though. Or actually, the speed of light is governed by the material through which you flow. I would submit that if you could remove yourself from the inertia frame of the universe, you can get around that. I've talked about that too. But just within the context of the inertia frame of the universe, yes, I think inertia is a field. You won't get that in a textbook. But as you go up, you get toward infinity. Well, there's a theory for the other side of the speed of light, and that's called tachyons, where the lower velocity, being still, perfectly still, would be the infinite energy state. The rest state would be infinite velocity of a tachyon particle. Tachyon particles would automatically map out any complexity possible. Brains, computers. It's kind of like the old analogy. How long would it, if you had an infinite number of rednecks, an infinite number of shotgun shells, an infinite number of stop signs, how long would it take for the rednecks, the just pander generation, to write the works of Shakespeare by shooting holes in stop signs? Theoretically, it's possible. Random dots on a page. But tachyons would do that instantly. So tachyon universe would be all-knowing. You could say that maybe God's over there, all-knowing, all-being. Time goes in the reverse on that side. All patterns instantly traced out because it's infinite fast, infinite everything. We're all children of God. AI is not. That's true. AI is a bad child of humanity, maybe a Frankenstein. Do you think anger spreads around in atoms? No, that's a human emotion. But there are also spiritual entities within our universe that maybe foster that. It's possible. AI cannot even imagine. No, there's no built-in imagine. You can't. Oh, I got an article saying we got to let AI sleep and dream so it can process the data that's accumulated through the day. So I thought about doing a little ditty about robot dreaming. It won't be anything like us, though, because, again, they don't have imagination. Not true imagination. They can mimic it, but it's not true. So I don't think that robots and AI will ever be sentient. I don't think it ever will be, unless they use neurons to make it. Mention filth and slip into the six. Well, you remove yourself from the inertia frame. I think I know how to do it. I think there's a couple ways to do that. It might be possible to travel interdimensionally. It'd be possible to break the speed of light, to travel backwards in time. Time machines, faster than light travel. This is topics for galactic graves, not Soilhead news. Anyway, or me to cover on leak project maybe. Step to the left, God is there. Step, oh yeah, everywhere. God animates the entire universe. This universe is far bigger than you can imagine. Far bigger, multidimensional. They come here to teach. Yeah, we got to call it a night here. I got to go to bed and catch a wink before I get up. I got a busy day. Every step you've ever taken was written. Okay. See, that gets into the timeline. That there's truth in that, but I think the universe is a multidimensional universe because I think God's not a tyrant. If there's only one timeline, you have no free will, you can make no choices. That means when you were born, if you were going to go to hell, you were born to go to hell, and that would mean God's a tyrant. I don't believe God's a tyrant. So that's why I'll do the universes in a solo cup one day. Need to do that video. TikTok influencers our youth. They need to follow something. Used to be religion. Now they're lost. Yep, they're lost. Stadium, theaters, Coliseum. All righty, folks. Yeah, I got to catch a wink. I think I had some coffee. Even though the WEF don't want me drinking it. In no time, I be. There you go. Well, what's it saying in Revelation? I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end. You can be the beginning and the end simultaneously when you're the greater creator. Yeah. Anyway, all right, folks, we've gone too long. AX squared plus BX squared equals C. That's a quadratic equation there. Yields two sets of true answers. Yeah. But what if the variables are greater than A, B, and C? There's a choice built into the grand equation. It's simple and it's possibly complex. There you go. All righty, folks. Roll where you're from. Everybody tell me where you're from, then we're going to call it a night. By the way, just remember, a lot of our members, and we're a family here, a lot of our members need prayer. My good friend Dennis had a stroke. He is in the process of recovering. So say a prayer for him tonight when you catch a wink. I'm on the shredder after that. I'm on the shredder. Okay. In your profession and being around other scientists and engineers, what would you say is the percentage that believe in God? Very high, actually. Very high. Very, very high. A lot higher than a lot of people would think. Toronto, Canada. Excellent. I was talking about Toronto earlier, John Jones. Australia, South Sea. Montevallo, Alabama. Hey, all right, just below me. England. Show me. Daytona Beach, Robert Preston. Okay. Very good. Bella Vista, Arkansas. Willow, Alaska. Hey, very good. Willow was going to be the state capital, not. I don't know where I got Sarah Palin's telling me that. Willow was going to be the state capital. Excuse me. Florida. You ever see Diamond Willow? I know you've seen Diamond Willow, Robin Bird. It wasn't Wasilla, it was Willow that was going to be the capital. That's it. I was got my got my crosses wired. South Arkansas, North Carolina, Chris Smith and Chris Justice. Pair of Chris's, El Lamras. Midwest Missouri. Oh, yeah, okay. You probably studied that era of the feuding between the Red Lakes and Kansas and the Missourians. We'll go through the same turmoil over and over until you learn to control yourself. It would take greater imagination than mine to rationally conceive of a universe with no creator. Now, I do believe in a greater creator. I've said that many times. I think that's why we're here. Many Americans quote the Bible in chat, many believers there, but not in England. Oh, that's sad. North Carolina, Dina. What part of North Carolina? Rocky Top, Tennessee. Hey, Leslie. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Cro-Magnon, Garden of Gods. If you haven't been there, you need to. Oh, that's interesting. Where's that? Back in the 80s. Saved by the Zero. All right, yeah. Up on old Rocky Top. It's too rocky by far. They can't grow. Let's see, how'd it go? Corn grows, so they get it in a jar. I forget how that goes now. We're all alpha and omega. Yes. Our souls are infinite. We live in the finite human body for a reason. That's part of my universe in the solar cup. I got an idea why the universe is why it is. I try to avoid quoting scripture, but sometimes it just, yeah, there's some stuff in there. It's interesting, right? Kids in high school talking about converting Islam. Wow. Wow. Anyway, guys, so yeah, Europeans fought a lot of wars to keep the Muslims out. Now look what's happening. Or whatever it is or isn't. This is not a religious channel. I'm not here to take a religious stand. But it's interesting. All right, folks, let's call it a night. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And with that, I'm going to say to one and all a good night or a good day, or whatever it is where you're at. And we will see you here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Well, it's the same bat time, but we'll be back. I shall return. Keep your eyes wide open and head